How's it going, guys? It's me, Randall, Shizukatz,
Hi, I'm BoatsDon'tSink, Connor.
and today we're bringing you guys a special exhibition match between Joon O and Samuel Kim. So this is just going to be a fun little best of three between these two guys, and so we have here both of the players for some quick pre-game questions before we get into the action. So first off, we'll start with Joon. So how are you feeling today?
Honestly, pretty excited to, play this game out. I've always wanted to play against, first place winners of big tournaments and stuff like that. But they're usually tired or don't want to play, so this is a pretty rare chance to play against somebody that got first place. Also, because we never got matched up against each other during the tournament, right? So it's always a bonus.
Mhm. All right. So today you brought, of course, Batman Ninja. So how are you feeling about the build and the particular matchup? Because we do, both of you do know what deck you're playing against, but not necessarily like what the builds are or what the card choices are. So what are your thoughts on that?
Right, right. The original tournament was open deck list, but I think we're both trying to like as much as this is like not, like a tournament redo, we're kind of trying to be like a similar tournament vibe. So we haven't like looked at each other's deck lists too much for the most part. So we just know like the general stuff of how the deck works.
Okay.
There are definitely changes I feel like I would want to make to the deck against Data Live in particular, but hey, it is what it is. We're playing with the same deck list as the tournament. Honestly, it should be pretty heavily Data Live favored, so who knows? We'll see.
Yeah. All right. And moving over to Sam. So how are you doing today, Sam?
Oh, doing good. Yeah, kind of nervous. Need to play the Juno, so yeah.
Sam, have you ever played against Batman Ninja in your life?
Once during a SBY box tournament two years
Nice.
ago,
A
two and a half.
long
So
time ago.
yeah, it's I wish I remembered the cards. I'll tell you, when I saw June was like in top eight, I was actually sweating because I'm like, wait, I actually forgot what that deck does, and in the chance I face up against him, I was pretty scared.
Yeah, that's definitely an advantage that Batman Ninja has. People don't know what that deck does, and it's just like a lot of people underrate the deck, but if you don't know what the deck does, you can't underrate it, right? So it just kind of comes at you, big
Exactly.
surprise.
Big
Exactly. And I think
surprise.
there's only like three cards I actually know, so hopefully that knowledge pulls me through.
All right, this should be a pretty spicy match then. And with the pre-game stuff out the way, I think we're just gonna get right into the games. So you guys both go ahead and mute us.
Okay, I will
Yep.
mute you and then
Yeah,
minimize the streams.
yeah. I'm gonna turn your guys'
Yeah.
volume down so we
Right.
can like barely hear you, and then Connor and I will both turn off our cameras so we can get into the game setup. Make sure they're like kind of audible.
I'm gonna mute Connor for now, and then let me know when we're ready to go.
All right, so Connor,
Okay, and then we'll
are you
Yeah,
excited for this matchup? This seems like a pretty hype
first
matchup,
try to
both
start, I guess.
player wise and deck wise.
absolutely. I
Or starting to come
I
in.
don't know how this is going to
Yeah,
go.
can hear you fine.
Um,
Hopefully you can hear me better.
as June said, it seems pretty data life favored.
They're starting to commentate
Just
for
because,
me.
especially when we are talking about Batman Ninja and some of the other matchups, like it has the reverse denial tools and sort of like the solitaire tools, but like data life especially just
All right, we
doesn't
both
care,
spent like 30 minutes
Right.
shuffling for cards
right?
anyway, so
Um,
I can keep up.
so I don't know how much we're going to be seeing Batman like
I'll be there
really
later.
take much control of the game here. I think he's going to have to sort of do the same very aggressive
Yeah,
pushes that he did in the tournament
are you going first?
to sort of gain a lead in this matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go 2-1-3 for you.
So we're just getting the
And 1-2-3.
start of game stuff out of the way. Did you happen to notice who's going first? I was looking at something else.
Mm, I did not see. I'm going to guess. with the first on top that June's probably leading off.
Okay.
Yep. Hmm.
We'll know if Joon moles first or not, because Joon is as well as a lot of the SoCal people were pretty keen on the like
Two.
on enforcing going first,
Is that
means
memory
moling
thing on
first.
This is anti-change, a 2/5 counter. Discard 2 characters to send.
Okay, let's see.
All right, so we see June mold the anti-change. Obviously, it's level 2 counter, so he's not planning on needing it super early.
Yep. Go ahead.
And Sam has molded the 1/1 anti-change, which is pretty solid. If he hits a standby early, he can get that on board. Just sort of, if he doesn't know what to expect, he might want a little bit of field control after he's put his field down. It lets him correct any maybe errors in his board state based on what June puts on board.
No, this is
I'm a little surprised he molded the Shido blinker though, because not knowing what zeros you're going to be facing against, I'd feel like he'd want the blink effect maybe available to him in case he needs it. But maybe he has another one in hand already.
Interesting, Ben.
Potentially.
Okay.
So here we're seeing Joon starting off with the gorilla. So just starting off with that
in the back. Reveal.
that early ability to retain card advantage that Joon loves to do, and then he's probably gonna use that extra card advantage to set up a turn 2 trifield. In fact, we've established this before on the actual stream. Data Live's power at 0 is pretty low. I actually don't know if Samuel's gonna be able to threaten the Garrod at all. He might even just get this +1 without even having to pay the stock.
Yeah. Ditch this. And then
Yeah, a 2K Grud might just win board anyway.
From
Yeah.
IMS.
So we see top check and anti-change bomb, pitch anti-change bomb to draw the third. Still only 1500 though, so and I don't believe this list was playing Chieri, right? So he doesn't have like an on-attack power pump that he could.
Don't believe so.
No, it's not. It's not playing Chieri. His only way to he doesn't really have any way to win board here. So we see the direct for 2 and a quick cancel. Man, this is great. June gets the +1 without even having to spend the stock. That's something that Batman
Can't
Ninja
really ask
definitely
for more,
enjoys.
huh?
Yeah. This man just played like an oversized 4K or something, right?
Yeah, this potentially even sets up a turn 2 like Sengoku. Get a salvage Ricky, get an even bigger card advantage disparity. But it looks like he's just gonna go with double Grodd and
double Grodd, and
there it is.
Sengoku comes down, and he's probably just gonna grab the level 1 combo there.
Yeah, even milling the level 1 combo, or he could even get Brainstorm, honestly. But he's just gonna go for the level 1. Maybe he already has the Brainstorm.
Is that the on reverse combo to draw?
This is the on reverse, yeah, with climax combo on reverse draw.
Alright, so he's grabbing the on reverse combo. This might be where if Sam can hit a standby on the next turn, getting the anti-change bomb in play might give him the board control that he needs to sort of deny this combo. But as it stands right now, it looks like June has a pretty solid lead, even getting his climax back here.
Yeah, he is definitely set. And
if Sam gets unlucky with cancels here and stays at 0, which if he cancels this attack, he very well might stay at 0 here.
Ooh, there it is.
They're the only level 0s in his whole deck that can contest either of these characters or any of these characters on June's board. The Brainstorm, 2000 power, and if the Swimsuit Kotori pumps 1K on the drop salvage. Those are his only ways to run over these zeros.
That's actually kind of ironic when your best level 0 attacker is your Brainstorm.
It is interesting. He could also opt for a play if he has a standby in hand where he plays some zeros, plays a Brainstorm, and bounces it back on a climax play to pump up to 2,500 to win a lane, and then get like a standby the 1/1 out or something like that. But it still doesn't look like being stuck at 0 here. He's not going to be able to get much of a lead.
Okay, so Sam was able to get that choice climax, which means that he may be able to go into that choice level 1 game plan. Just somehow manage to get like one of his 2 copies of the 1/0 combo and then just get some cards. Right now, June is in such good control of the board right now with these massive 2K attackers. The funny thing is that I feel like June would normally, in any other matchup, he would probably pay out that pants that's 3 deep. He really like is
going to play this.
perfectly fine with like spending a bunch of stock if he needs to, just to get things done.
Move to combat.
And I feel like in any other situation, he would like double bounce Grodd into like a brainstorm next turn. But the thing is that these Grods aren't even being threatened, so I'm not entirely sure what he's going to do to try to get that climax out of stock.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, even if Sam went for one of these plays that does allow him to win a lane, the Grods can still just pay 1+. So like, Joon is in like no threat here at all.
Alfred, this is
And he's still just chilling at 0.
Still chilling at 0. He could go to 1 here if he has another Sengoku and wants to go to 1. I don't. If he has the draw combo, he might. But honestly, I don't think it's worth it. I think with 3 characters already on board, like, you might not even clock to draw here.
Yeah. I remember in the post-tournament interview, he was talking about how he dropped the pay to rest search Batman from his deck. That would actually be such a good card here. He could like pay to rest search into a brainstorm and then brainstorm pay the stock out.
Yeah, that would be really good here, for sure.
But unfortunately, he is not running that card, so he is gonna have to find some other way to get that out, or maybe even he just buries it.
Oh, excuse me, I had to mute there for a second.
If he triggers 3 clean here, honestly, you probably just take the. Oh my God, he just has 2 books, so he's just gonna slam on this turn.
Yeah. Well, so I figured when he Sengoku'd for the level 1 combo, he probably already had the first one. Otherwise, he would have gone for the brainstorm. But then triggering the gate and getting the second one back to hand. Coming off of multiple cancels and adding. So we saw Sam cancel twice last turn, add a choice to hand, play a standby from hand.
So he's out like 4, right?
Yeah, this could be a lot of damage that stakes. He's out at least 4 or 5. So this could be a lot of damage that comes through this turn.
This is exactly what Joon wants for this kind of matchup. He wants to be pushing in the early damage, setting the pace.
We do see the 3 stick.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, he did get a really good cancel on a 3 though. So
yeah, canceling the Derek for 4 was pretty huge.
Or yeah, the 4 even, because he triggered a early play, right?
Right.
Do that red.
This is awkward. There's no yellow for Sam to level to get value out of this choice here, unless he goes for the refresh counter, which is probably not what you want to be leveling here.
His deck already runs like such little counts of yellow. Like looking at the characters, he's running 3 level 0 Shidos, and then 2 copies of the level 1 combo, which you don't want to be. You probably don't want to be leveling. You want to be having access to those in case you draw the choice like he has right now, so you can use the combo. And then the only other yellow besides that is what, the 2 free fresh and the 2 level 3 Kotoris. Yeah.
Yep, that is it.
Yeah, my turn.
It's possible he might have a level 3 Kotori in hand that he can just clock here. Yep, there it comes. Yep.
Nice.
That is usually what you'd want to hold to clock at level 1 so that it goes into your waiting room when you level up to 2, and then you can stand by it out pretty easily. So that makes sense.
Now the real question is, how many Kotori level 1s does he have?
Yeah, how many
copies?
How many one is? Yeah, we haven't seen any, right? So they're either chilling in his hand or they're still in the deck. If he has a brainstorm in hand, he probably. Well, I say he probably goes for it, but he only has 1 stock. He might not want to spend too much stock here.
He did use 1 stock on the previous turn for the field swap. Allowed him to get a +1 on board that way.
Yeah, which definitely makes up for the lackluster 0 a little bit. Not entirely, but we do still see him an entire level behind here. So
yeah, just 1 copy.
Yeah, if I had to guess,
okay, could be worse.
I mean, bouncing the brainstorm doesn't even do anything here, really. Pumping Kotori up to 5k still loses to the level 1 combo.
If anything, it fills up his hand.
Unless he has the counter, it puts him. If he plays the brainstorm, pumps Kotori to 5k. He can counter.
Oh wait, hold on.
Since it would be at 65.
Yeah. Okay.
Did the stream visuals just
I'm going
freeze?
to pay 1.
Oh, okay. That's weird.
This, salvage this,
Okay.
and then give power.
So he did a drop salvage, grabbing the punch.
Finally play that.
See in chat, is the State Alive list 6 standby 2 choice? It is 5-3. It's playing 5 standby with 3 of the choice.
2 combat.
Okay.
Alright, let's start here. I'm going to. This is going to be 5-5.
That's a 5-5 anti-chain. Man, this is going to be real awkward when it swings into an infiltration.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's actually crazy if he has the infiltration.
No, you know what would be really crazy? He attacks with it first, Joon drops infiltration, cancels, and then infiltration gets bottom decked. That would actually be crazy.
I'm going to front attack here.
Whew.
5-5.
Okay.
For 2 damage. Fronting.
Dude, there's no way, right? There's no way.
It looks like he has it. He just doesn't know if he wants to do it, right?
I'm gonna pay 1
If he
bounce here.
play-
For 2.
Oh, he doesn't have it.
Cancels.
Oh, you want to cancel that?
I'm going to
Oh, okay. All right, yeah. Even if he did
I wonder
have
if that's
it,
what. I wonder if he does
not
have
gonna
it.
do
And that's, yeah, that's what he was worried about.
3 hits level.
All right, we see him go to level 1 here, and this last attack will be for at least 2. So, still not going to entirely even up the damage, but it can get it close.
Climax combo. Oh, yeah.
If he
The
does have
real
the
shame is if he misses here, right? If he like reveals a choice off the top and just doesn't get a bunch of hand.
And then
Uh,
6,
I think he's out of choice. I think he only has standbys left.
He got a choice. Okay. Standby is probably fine. It still leaves him on a 4, which is a little awkward.
Wait, this
but-
ties, right? Because these are both 6-5?
Take the hand if it's
Yes, I believe so.
yeah, exactly. And reveal again.
Interesting that he would decide to go for the
and
infiltration on
finally
this,
trigger 2 damage.
considering that they tie. Oh, never mind.
Oh, wow.
The punch.
Yes.
Cancels.
And another cancel.
Yeah. Impressive.
Alright. Go ahead. Actually, at the start of your turn, with this, I'll give power. Who do I want to give power?
Now, none of these characters really have enough power to matter.
Yeah.
So that's
Because even the anti-chain tier is only going to be at 5k, and that's the strongest character on his board. So we will see Batman get free reign over whatever characters Sam decides to throw in front of it.
Right. So Joon is out. Assuming he had a second book in his hand, he should be out 6 right now because he had the 1 from before plus the 1 he played last turn, 2 that he just canceled with, 1 in stock, and then presumably the book that he has in hand.
Okay.
But with this with his level 1 combos, he should be able to just get out of this first deck rotation pretty clean, I think. Well, he does have quite a bit left.
If he does have a bit, but if he triggers 3 times, gets to draw 4 cards, maybe he has a brainstorm here. We've still not seen it come down at any point, but he might have one. He's not playing any of the 1-0 check top 4 event, which is something you usually see in these Batman Ninja lists, but Joon is not playing any.
Play mill 2.
Only 1 combo, but he does get some mill here.
Okay. He won.
And maybe goes for another combo. Ooh, clocks the climax off the top. Goes for the brainstorm. Sure.
So that means his refresh is going to be at most 6 climaxes.
Right.
Alright.
Unless he somehow finds a way to pay out the one in his stock here.
Brainstorm.
Yep.
Nothing.
There would have been pretty solid.
Oh, maybe he has a draw copy?
Hitting there and grabbing grappling hook to pull up the back row Toka could have been
That would have been spicy.
huge, because that pays out the climax and removes one of the important characters from Data Live's board.
Okay, so he did end up having
Unfortunately.
the draw copy. So he will be able to get an additional +1.
Yeah, 5K.
Ideally looking to draw the last climax and then
1K1?
immediately pitch it
Sure.
off of the draw 2 ditch one.
Sizes of.
Either that or just leave it in deck.
This is 8K. This
Can't
is
run it.
5.
I think his amount of deck left is...
It might be
Such
too
that he's
small
gonna-
after the brainstorm.
Yeah, I feel like he's just gonna end on 1.
Great. So 6-5.
So if your goal is to ditch the last climax off of your draw 2 ditch one, then you probably attack with the draw copy first, right?
Sure. I'll pay 1.
I think you would definitely want to attack with the draw copy first here.
Okay.
Wonder what the idea was there.
It looks like he's going to try to
5K right now, right?
2K counter
And you're
to
6-5.
save the anti-change bomb here.
Shit, I fucked up. Okay.
It's only 5k though, right?
Dang.
Right, so that'd be 7, which
Math wrong, yeah.
Oh, I
did
guess
the
Sure.
I guess he
yeah,
put
this should be
the
6.
I guess he put the brainstorm power on like middle or something.
Yeah,
Front. 4-2. 2.
it at least forces the stop. Yeah, here comes the counter.
1, 2.
Oops.
Level. Hold on, I gotta pick the colors again. Shit. Do I need blue?
Yeah, there's not much you can do to. I mean,
Yellow,
putting the 500 in the
Okay, yellow, 6 cards.
on the combo there is definitely
on reverse.
it gets you the tie, which is better than nothing.
Bottom. Go ahead.
Direct. Draw.
Yep.
Or 4.
Okay. Hopefully I can.
That's a lot of damage. Oh,
Hopefully,
boy.
I cancel this. He says
Badge.
he did not cancel this.
3.
Maybe this works out better for Joon
1,
in that
that's 1, 2.
while he
It-
loses the draw 2 ditch one, he possibly gets to
Yeah.
keep the last climax in there.
Yeah. Right. He didn't trigger the climax, so unless he drew it off of the combo, he will get the cancel here. And being as far ahead as he is, like, I think it's fine refreshing this view as long as he has a way to deal with it on his next deck.
It's not like he's on shortage of attackers either. He's still got 2 gorillas in hand.
Right, and he's going to get at least some amount of clock compression here, no matter what. It's pretty unfortunate if the climax is the bottom card, but if it's the first or second card, he will be getting some minor amount of clock compression.
Right.
Let me just spend all my stuff.
So we haven't seen too many of Sam's climaxes. Where could the rest of them be? I wonder how many he has in his hand.
He lost a lot early, and cancel
How many turns at level 3 do I get?
once that turn.
So we'll find out.
I think he was already like 6 out, right? So he probably has 1 in hand.
And I'll draw a second and refresh damage.
There's also always the possibility of that last card in his deck being standby. Standby always on the bottom, right? Just like Gates.
Standby always on the bottom. Refresh point to 2/6 here is, whew, that's rough.
Yeah,
That
that's
is-
pretty spooky.
He could hopefully have the early play heal in hand, but that will take all of his stock.
Alright, 1, 2, 3.
And if you don't have the early play heal, you'd almost rather just go to level 3 here and have bigger characters in general.
So I'll draw
But,
the second card and then refresh the damage, right? Yep. Draw
so
second.
he draws his second from the clock to draw, refresh point to 2/6. And he has no waiting room to stand by from if he did draw the standby here.
Yeah.
Well, I'll play this. Hard play.
We've seen both copies of the 3/2 Kotori assist, because one was in his level 1 clock that he leveled up and just shuffled back, and the second one is in his level 2 clock here. So
Doesn't even have
He
access
doesn't
to
have
either of
any-
those.
yeah, he doesn't have access to either of those, unless he drew it as like the last card off his clock to draw
Wait,
here.
Actually, hold on. What's the middle one do again? Just to double check.
This is all my other characters can't side
I mean, to
effect,
hard
and then,
play
if
the
I don't-
2/2
if I
Toka
have
here
one or less back
is
row,
not
I
what
can't
we would
attack.
like to be
Okay.
spending our stock on when we're at
Yes.
2/6, about to go into
Not-
3. That's really stock
Not
that
a
you would like to
good
have for
idea.
healers, but like,
Do you want to get rid of
Yeah.
But man.
Probably a smarter idea.
He's gonna do what he can.
Definitely gonna do what he can.
In this case,
Can't tell what the bottom card in his. Is that a trial deck token? Is the bottom card in his waiting room?
okay, Crashin.
The trial deck 0/0. It looks like.
I'm
So
not
he doesn't
sure.
even if he triggers a standby here, he doesn't even have a good time.
Well, you get the 1/0, right? If you trigger standby.
You get the one. You get the 1/0.
9-5 for 3 damage.
3, 1,
Yeah.
2, refresh.
He does not get the cancel, so that last climax is in his hand.
Okay, so we're looking at quite a bit of damage coming to June here. Also, some nice clean triggers for Sam. That's what we like to see.
So it is some damage. I mean, he could cancel on 3 here, but even if he doesn't, he's still ahead. Like he's still winning in damage, and it means that he has a climax to continue either getting another. I mean, he probably can't get another combo off with this board state, but he could get the draw combo. I guess the on attack draw.
Yeah.
He can definitely push damage though, which is pretty solid. And if this board gets reversed, then Toka 2/2 is going to be small, and then early play heal probably just kills it,
3-1-2.
3, 1,
especially with the climax.
for 3.
You know, if June does
Three does
end up
stick.
if June does end up going for another combo turn with the honor-verse version instead of the draw version, to threaten the anti-change suicider, like, if you're in Sam's position, can you even afford to spend the 1 stock on the field swap to try to deny 1 card? I feel like you need that stock for yourself for level 3 game.
Right. It's maybe justifiable because he goes up to 3 stock here, right? So it's even if he pays the 1, he's only getting 1 level 3 either way. So it just depends on whether he wants to save that last stock to go for 1 level 3 and then 2 the following turn. But it might just be better to bank on standbys, getting the characters out here.
Right.
1, cancels.
So let's get the cancel here. That is an important cancel.
It's only 8-5 now. Start of your turn now. Assign power from the 1-0 to this.
Okay.
So it's 10k.
10k? Alright.
Yeah, 10k on that Toka. An early play heal from Jude. Also 10k, right?
Yeah, she's the same as
yeah,
Saya,
she's
so
10,
she'll be
yeah,
10.
she's just 10k, but with a I guess no amount of power buffs really gets her out of counter range, but just the climax boost gets her over the 2/2, which will force the field swap to save the 2/2.
And if Sam has a counter, it would have to be the free fresh counter, right? Because his 1/0s, one of them went back in, one of them did clock.
Right.
That's 10k, right?
Yep.
That's the sound of June prepping his early play to run that over.
Clock 2.
Clocking that Grodd. He's had those for a while.
Now the real question, with Sam only having 3
1.
stock, oh look at that early play heal. Look how easy that is.
Yeah.
Early play Catwoman.
With Sam only having 3 stock, maybe a question is, do you double early play here?
Play this. 1.
Okay, that's
Oh,
just as
okay.
good.
Play this.
Because that's going to be even bigger than the early play. That's going to be attacking for at least 12.
Right, but here's the thing
it-
here. Does June just leave his early play like this, where it's just automatically getting sent to the bottom of the deck by the Yoshino?
Yep. 10k. Because you have 1k for every other. And Adachi.
Yeah, I think you do, because you force the 1 stock, right? Or no, that's across from the line. No, I think you switch it, right?
Yeah, you need to do the.
You want
need to
the
do
you want
other
the
way.
early play. Yeah, you want the early play across from the 2/2 to force the stock here.
Yes, bomb deck. I probably should have mentioned that.
Because both of these, the early play and the 2/1, are both bigger than the 2/2 Toka. So you're winning that lane no matter what. So you want to force him to pay the stock in order to bottom deck the early play.
Right. Huh. It looks like he's not moving it. Maybe he sides it?
It's possible.
Cards in hand? Or, yeah,
It's
cards in hand?
it's possible that he
There
skids it.
are 6 cards in hand.
Yes, okay. Alright.
Well, he's definitely playing that climax. Just needs to decide where to put the brainstorm buff.
Start a climax. 500 power here.
Okay.
1k1.
He did put the brainstorm buff on the 3-2.
Sure. Size of the 2-1, I believe it.
This is on attack gains 1,000 for every other.
So that's
on attack
13?
It'll be 13k.
Yeah,
13, which is going to be out of range of free fresh counter.
just barely.
And you are 11.5 there.
11.5 here, correct.
So now he's forcing the field swap if Sam wants to counter to save the 2-2.
13.
It's like, do you
He-
either
he's
do you
put-
either
he's
save
put-
the
he's
2-2
put Sam in
or
an
countering?
awkward.
Oh,
Right, he's put Sam in an awkward spot where if Sam, so assuming the free fresh counter is the counter in hand, he now has to pay 2 stock and use the counter. So like 1 stock on the field swap, 1 stock on the counter, and lose the counter out of hand
And you let your
in order to save this 2-2.
Oh no, okay. So either way, Joon loses the early play unless he sides.
And you lose if you do that to save the 2-2, you also lose the anti-change bonus that you can't bomb.
Right.
So this might be the better one.
It's even more
And if he
awkward when
doesn't-
your opponent's just presenting their early play to your bomb. It's just like, here, you can have it.
Right. Oh, he does go for the field swap. This seems like a misplay here. I'm not sure I would have done that.
Pretty hard investment.
Because now, yeah, that's a lot of resources. We do see the direct attack come out first on a cancel.
Well, if you can ask for anything in this situation, it's cancels. So he'll take those.
Indeed.
Cancel up top.
Oh. He's losing Kurumi climaxes though, which is probably what Joon wants to see the cancels on.
Oh, back up.
Yeah.
He does go for the backup here.
And 1, 2, 3, you said?
Yeah.
Take it.
Got 3 sticks.
There's the other Kotori, but one of them is falling into waiting room right now, so he will have access to that.
He will have access to that, but falling down to 1 stock here, he cannot heal.
I guess I'll use this effect first.
Yeah, this is a tricky spot.
And I'll put on bottom, and then look at top 2.
You have to wonder how set up Sam even is for his level 3 game. If he was willing to go down to 1 stock, maybe he just doesn't have cards ready for level 3 yet. In which case, this is just
he might
not
not.
a great situation in any sense.
Yeah, I don't know that any outcome there was very good for Sam. Meanwhile, the Batman is just somehow forcing Data Live into a very awkward position with that board state.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like the field swap kind of just cost Sam a bunch of stock over the course of the game. I mean, like, it was getting him pluses,
Yeah, maybe
but
I misplay with this swap. Oh, well.
just like
It has gotten him a couple pluses, but very expensive and awkward pluses.
yeah, and just like based on the speed of the game that it's been going at, it's just Sam has just not had enough time to replenish that stock to use on stuff in the later stages of the game. This is exactly what Joon wants. He just wants people to be rushed into a state where they just don't have enough resources to function. And the thing is that with Joon's strategy, he's basically just going for like very simple stuff. Has 1 job, like that 2-1. It's just designed to attack and kill something. And like this infiltration, it's just designed to be big, retain board, and then potentially be used for like the trap change. So some very simple stuff.
looks like
the strategy
everything
is
else
working.
in Sam's hand might be 2-2s and level 3s if he can't play another character here.
9, 11, 5.
11.5.
I probably would.
Because
I think
I'd push
he
up
really.
to 1-0.
Yeah. He really needs that extra stock so we can play 2 cards that cost 2 stock apiece. So probably put
Right.
Brainstorm in the middle and then put the 1-0 on the side lane so it can still use its buff ability at the start of the next turn, right?
Agreed.
Dead. Push back.
And then even if you do that, right, you end up crashing the Brainstorm in the middle first, and if you trigger the standby, you can get something actually relevant over the Brainstorm that you crashed.
Mm-hmm.
So that seems like it would have worked out a lot better for him.
Not really. Yeah, so that's 3 damage.
1, 2, 3. Hit.
He does have an entire center stage now, though. Only 2 of them are really lanes that threaten anything. But he's still 5 damage behind.
2, 3. There's 3 in waiting room, and you saw my trigger.
3 in waiting room.
Being 5 damage behind isn't
How many of them
even
are
the
standbys?
biggest problem. He's
They're
5
all
damage away
standby.
from
In fact, they're
dying.
all the Kurumi standbys.
That is true. He is 5 damage away from dying, and also he played a climax from hand and triggered a climax that turn. So that's 2 more out of his deck after
Yeah, I actually made that mistake.
everything else he's gone through. So
BSF run, it was pretty sad.
every climax that leaves that deck at this point puts him a notable step closer to losing this game.
Yeah, also, I'm pretty sure Sam's out Kurumi climaxes now because he canceled 2 on the last turn. He just played 1 and he just triggered the last one.
And he just triggered the last one. You see the brainstorm miss.
And you have 3 stops.
I assume he was going to try to get his early play healer back there, and just keep grinding out this game.
Joon, please remember to play another back row. Please, Joon. Joon, please.
Joon, please.
Joon, please play another back row. His infiltration can't attack. Oh my god, Joon.
Don't do this, Joon. Ah, there it is.
Okay. Not again.
So it looks like he's probably just gonna slamming a climax here for sure. So he is presenting lethal. If he hits a soul trigger, at some point he could win in 2 attacks. Otherwise, he has to stick all 3. But with 4 climaxes that have soul triggers, maybe he'll get there.
Joon's saying it doesn't matter, but it definitely matters. He wants to attack into the brainstorm first so that Sam gets less defensive scries off of the 2/2s.
Yeah. You definitely, no matter which order you attack in, one of the 2/2s needs to be the last attack.
3 climaxes in waiting room, you said, right?
Right.
Yes, that's right. All Kurumi CX.
You just want to give your opponent as few chances as possible to try to mitigate damage. That's exactly what the 2/2s, and with the 1-0 in the back row, because that is still there.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey.
I can't do last turn.
Okay, alright. Front for 2.
1, 2, take it. Oh,
Do you see the 2 stick?
lethal.
So one trigger sticking here ends the game.
2.
But don't see the trigger on the first attack.
Cancel up top.
You see the cancel.
Reverse. Look at top. Okay. Put back on top. Look at top.
I think I know what that is.
Yeah, that is a choice climax, and it's going to go second card down if he's doing this right.
Cancel.
He did not put it second card down.
Reverse. Actually, let me think.
That seems like a mistake, unless he really wanted to draw the other
Let me
card.
figure out which of these.
Yeah,
two.
if it's a good enough card worth drawing, then probably
If
put it.
it's a card worth drawing, that makes sense. Otherwise, I think you would want to take the extra effective mill 1.
So let's-
Right.
Yeah, that's the top card. 5, 10, 14. Wait.
However, even sticking, just that 2 damage,
Third.
Joon is not at any threat of dying here, really.
4.
Not from 2/4.
Ugh, really.
He's going to be taking vanilla swings. They'd have to all stick to end the game.
Well, this is going into a
And-
fresh deck, so
It
anything
is
can
going into a
happen.
fresh deck. Anything's possible. I wouldn't say it's likely, though. And Sam also doesn't really have the stock to play too much threatening. The biggest part here is that there's no Kurumi standbys
Okay,
left,
so
right?
I'll use this effect.
Right.
Look at top, put on
So
top, and then I'll
the
use
only way this ends very poorly for Joon
Nice.
is if Sam plays the 3/2 Kurumi, plays the Climax Swapper, and swaps a choice into a Kurumi standby and gets to shuffle back on Joon's 1-card deck.
There, then hand.
Right, but he only
That
runs
could-
he only runs 1 climax swapper, and I believe it's the bottom card of his stock.
So we'll put it back in this order.
And if that's the case, then I don't think there's really any chance
It's vanilla swing land.
Joon dies here. Right, it's just vanilla swing line. He probably heals once
6,
and just goes for it.
1.
1 up.
He can... Well, he doesn't play Icy Tail. Let's see. He doesn't play Icy Tail. I was going to say, he has enough stock to Icy Tail. But he doesn't play the Icy Tail.
Yeah, instead he plays the trial deck.
He plays the trial deck, yeah, which he also has enough stock to use, but that doesn't seem very good here. I mean, ICTL honestly doesn't seem very good here either, but I think you just heal vanilla swing and hope to survive.
If he hopes to have any chance of surviving the following turn, he's got to mill through this deck somehow. He's super low on climaxes, and he was counting his deck a second ago. He has 14 cards currently, so that's a lot to go through.
Yeah, there's only like we've seen all 5 standby. We've seen what, 2 choice, 1 choice, at least 1.
Yeah,
you can't spawn 1.
Okay. All right.
So there's at best he's 2 and 14 here, which
direct attack here.
Not good.
For 3 damage.
If we see a trigger here, it's lights out.
Yeah, if there's a climax here, the game's over. All Joon will have to do is play 2 soul attackers or play a climax to guarantee closing the game out.
Mm-hmm.
Unless there's a refresh counter.
True, very true.
We've not seen him search one, but it could be there. Yeah. At that point, it's just the same thing Joon's dealing with here, right? It's just you're on a fresh deck, anything could happen.
Mm-hmm.
And dodging the refresh point isn't particularly relevant because A, his deck's too big to worry about it anyway. But, B, 2 soul attackers just end it regardless.
Okay, so looking on the flip side, at the start of this attack phase, Sam needed 10 to win. When you account for the refresh point, that's basically means you need 9 to win.
6 more. He has to hit a trigger.
Yeah, so he needs 1 trigger within these last 2 attacks, and it needs to just all go through.
And it needs it all to go through.
So you definitely want to attack with the 2/2 Toko with the front attack first. That way you have, if you don't hit the soul trigger on this first attack, you have a chance to look through the top 2, try to find a soul trigger for the second attack. Oh no!
He misses it on the first.
Look at top 2. Your range.
He's looking for it. Where's the trigger?
Oh, it doesn't sound like he found it. Either found 2 or 0.
Unfortunate. Can't swing for
Doesn't
lethal.
sound like he found it.
He can't swing for lethal.
Oh no! Oh, and Joon gets sent to 3-6.
I wish I checked the soul trigger. Go ahead.
He says, "I wish I checked the soul trigger."
Yeah, Sam definitely doing his best here, playing to his outs. He had the correct attack order with the right state of play in terms of or state of mind in terms of making that play. Yeah, the right idea.
Is this gonna be? The gate was in the top 3, and I think that's even a second copy of it there. Are we going to finally see Joon use the restander combo? I have never seen him use this
throughout like all of his games, like WSI.
Yeah, no, I don't think I've ever seen him actually use this combo. And every time I commentate one of his games, I'm like, oh man, if he hits level 3 and he dumps the restanders, like he has a good kill turn here, and he just never does it.
Oh, sorry. I am 12-5.
I don't know if it's like a thing that he just doesn't like using, or if he just always sends the climax early because he doesn't really value it very much.
Let's put power here.
I personally think the Batman restander is like a pretty solid finisher. Obviously, it has all the downsides that a restander has, but it's consistent and relatively efficient, which is all you can really ask for with a restander.
Yeah, I remember reading the card when they first revealed it, and I was just thinking to myself, like, man, Rem's a pretty good restand, and they just printed
it was the first card they revealed. It's like, wow, this is off to a good start.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
12-5.
It's like good climax trigger, digs for its own climax, easy condition. It's big. This thing's 11k. Like,
and then second swing is like 14, right? Because it gains 2k off the restand, I believe.
Right, yeah. So it attacks with the climax in play. It attacks for 12 and then 14. And like even on defense being 11k, like, that's the number that everyone wants their level 3s to be at. So you want your level 3s to be 11ks.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's not even 11k.
Although notably, compared to a lot of other decks these days, I feel like most other decks are running some sort of costed assist. to bolster their level 3 board, whereas I don't believe
Right.
Joon runs any. He just kind of goes in with
Joon does not.
Mimi boosts.
I've seen some lists that play like the 2K assist to level 3s or whatever. But Joon does not play it. Which with how much he focuses on the early play heals, it kind of surprises me a little that he doesn't play it.
Yeah, especially given how the Catwoman early play, they're not exactly the biggest card either. Just a modest 10K.
Only being 10K. Putting them up to 12 seems fairly decent. And it's on play, draw one, discard one as well, which is not the worst.
Oh, for the assist.
Yeah, the 2K assist is on play, draw one, ditch one.
Joon setting up his Batman across from one of the 2/2s in case he does need that side attack for 1. Okay. Definitely think that's correct.
1,000 power here.
Okay.
12K. 12, right?
As far as attack order, we probably swing in with the 2/1 first. Yeah. Want to give your opponent as few potential Toka Scries as possible going into this endgame.
Right. Yeah, I think this is another scenario where as long as you're attacking one of the Tokas last, which it actually looks like the Restander could very well, if not on first attack, then on the second attack be able to reverse the Toka. So I think the early play is probably the last attack you want to make here.
Depending on how these earlier attacks pan out, might just end up being the side attacks on either of the 2/2s with either the Catwoman or the Batman. Although with how many Sam is out right now, this could just this could just be an anything wins situation if he doesn't have like the free fresh punch.
Right. Is it frozen? I hear him saying free fresh.
Oh shit! It did.
My feed is frozen. I think we might have some camera issues with.
No, it's
Sam
good for me.
Here.
I think he's actually just.
Oh.
Wait, is he?
I think from my end, it looks like on the stream.
It's okay if I cycle camera on and off.
Yeah, Sam's.
Okay, he's resetting camera real quick.
Yeah. I did hear him say free fresh counter though, so I think that's what we're going for here.
Judge, my opponent DC'd. Maybe we'll just have him restart Discord real quick, maybe.
We'll see. We will see. We have to see what a total of
Can you guys hear me?
4. We can hear you.
Yeah, I hear you.
All
right.
All right. Randall's saying maybe just restart.
Yeah, start restarting. Try restarting.
All right.
Okay, so we're gonna have Sam restart Discord real quick. We'll be right back.
Yeah, we'll be back here in a moment. But so that's what 4 damage that Joon has to get through to win the game here.
Yeah. Well.
Or is it? Yeah. Or is it 5?
It's 4. Sam's deck state is arguably low enough that it could be 3 if he pushes enough damage to force a refresh.
Well, assuming he was actually playing the refresh counter there, we are going to need to see the 4. So I did hear him mention refresh counter.
So we are having a bit of technical difficulty with Sam's camera.
Really?
Discord, please. What, do you see it on your end?
No, that's the.
Yeah, it's still like spinning, right?
Might just be a hardware issue.
Possibly.
This is hold on, let me see if I just disconnect the device.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe try unplugging it, plugging it back in.
So the cool part with needing to stick 4 here is this first attack is it for 2 or is it for 3?
This one's for 2.
It is for 2. Okay, it didn't hit a trigger. So that makes things a little more awkward. But swinging for 2 here means that if you hit the trigger on the Batman Ninja, your second attack's a side for 2. If this cancels, you get to front for 3 with the Batman Ninja, side for 1, which adds up to 4. And then if you, even if you front for, I guess if you front for 3 and that cancels, then you front for 3 and hope to hit the soul trigger to 4, and then hope to hit the soul trigger on the Catwoman to 4.
Right.
But if you stick the 3 and then the side for 1 cancels, the Catwoman can also side for 1.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of good math going on. It would have been even better if the 2-1 had hit a soul trigger.
Oh.
Good? No? Oh, boy.
No. I actually can't figure out what's going on here.
Yeah, I mean, Discord does do this every now and then, but it's kind of weird that it's still doing it. You already tried restarting Discord, right?
Yeah, once.
And then you said you tried replugging in the webcam?
Yeah, actually, how did Randall fix his? Because he was having a similar issue, right?
Oh, I don't know. Usually when this happens to me, either like my internet's bad or I just like reconnect on Discord and it fixes it.
The issue I was having earlier before we started was with OBS, not with Discord though, so I don't think that same fix would work here.
I don't know. Try rejoining the call a couple of times. Maybe it'll work.
This could also just be an internet issue, as I think Joon was saying, which... We'll see what we can do here.
Mm-hmm. All right, we have the attempt being made. Doesn't look like he's back quite yet.
Like this. Oh no.
Still nothing.
Yeah, it's still spinning.
Well, this is a bit awkward. Right in the middle of a show
Right
match.
in the middle
Probably not
of
the
a-
best time.
Right, you're in the middle of, like, the climactic turn.
Okay, just plug in here. Let's try. Whoops. Okay, I tried putting it into a different USB.
Yeah, that might help.
There it is.
Oh, baby.
Ah,
All right.
we did it.
Don't tell me
We
it's
did it.
actually my motherboard.
It could be.
Oh no.
The protocols are super complicated, so sometimes it be like that.
I don't know, like I played fucking 10 games in BSFO and oh my god, okay.
Alright.
Is the quality
All right, yeah, everything looks good now.
Yeah, it's
We
good.
are alive.
Oh, man.
And so might Sam be.
Alright.
So might Sam be, indeed.
You said you were gonna use a refresh counter, right?
Yeah, so this is refresh counter. We see the 3 stockies paying out.
Straight out?
Yep. And then same amount of hands.
Yeah, and then put the 3 stop where the stock used to be just to show people. Like,
okay, yeah.
Like,
So this was the game state where it froze.
Yeah, so they're just showing.
Yeah, and then you're attacking.
So that it's clear for everyone watching here. We know what happened because we can hear him a little bit, but so he is attacking trigger. So it's just an attack for 2. We see the refresh here.
And I do that, just to show you how many CXs were in here, it was the same number.
You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 6 climaxes going back, and then there were 2 in his deck. We said 2 and 14 earlier, so 2 and 11 here. He decides not to take the risk with the 2 and 11.
So one thing to remember for all the folks at home when you are doing refresh counter math, even if you have a better climax ratio after you do your refresh punch, you do need to remember that the amount of damage incoming is still constant. So
right, this 2 is actually the least threatening attack on the board right now, because none of June's other attacks like do good math with 2. So there's almost a thought that maybe you take the 2 here and save the refresh counter, but
1, 2, 3.
I guess you do run the risk of not getting a chance to use the refresh counter because of side attacks, if that happens. But
that was 2 damage, right?
I don't think that's too much of a worry. We do see the cancel though; it pays off.
looks like we might
The
see a
refresh
side
counter
fest.
pays off.
Look at top. Down bottom.
Might see a side fest coming up.
We might. I think you have to attack. You have to frontal attack on the first Batman attack, though. I think.
Yeah, for sure.
And I actually think he should have done it here.
Front here.
I think Batman attack should have come before Catwoman.
1, 2, 3. Cancel on 3.
Ooh.
3 cancels.
On reverse, I'll use this effect first. Look at top. Put on bottom. Look at top.
Because if you attack with the Batman first,
Range like this.
the second attack's definitely getting the reverse.
Right.
So then you don't get a.
Front here.
I mean, the first attack honestly probably gets the reverse too, because that's 13 and 12, so or like 14 and 12 even. So that gets you like 2 attacks that aren't having any top checks on them.
Oh, uh-oh. June needs a trigger.
I look like a cheater.
Oh boy.
Fuck.
And he's going to get additional Toka Scries here, because that
Yeah, on
that did get the reverse.
Look at top. Put on bottom.
How did that? Is that big enough to get the reverse?
Where did he put the brainstorm?
He might not have put brainstorm power on that.
Yeah.
They should still be.
Okay, I have to.
Oh no, Toka's 12-5. So if you didn't put him on, then yeah, he is smaller. I was thinking he was still at least tied, but
3 in waiting room. 2 Kurumi CXs and 1 choice.
Maybe he put them on middle?
yeah. Oh no, it looks like he put them on the Catwoman to tie, right?
Let's see. That
Or no.
that Toka's 12. Yeah,
No,
so
Toka's-
yeah, that Toka's 12
Yeah,
because
he
put
put
the
them on the
1-0.
Catwoman.
Front bigger this time for 3.
Where's the trigger? That's the
Oh.
wrong trigger. Oh, and it
cancels
cancels
anyway.
anyway.
Yeah, I do think that attack order was wrong there,
The
because
disconnect would be game lost here, though, right?
In a tournament, but remember this is a casual match, so
Oh, okay, fair enough.
don't worry about it.
I was gonna say, like, I'm okay with conceding this game.
No,
because-
no, no, no. Let's not go there.
You insist. Oh, I have to.
All right.
So
now,
this
let's see if
is-
June can God cancel.
How big is your restander?
This is 10K now.
10K, gotcha. Alright, so it'll be 12-5.
triggering that draw on the last attack doesn't help very much either.
Do I want the clock? No. 2-2-2.
There's not much June can really do defensively here to try and help in the same way that Sam has access to that free fresh counter. So he's just kind of
Hope that direct attacks are too big.
Alright,
he's just gonna have to see if he can get out of here.
combat.
We are gonna see 3 attacks of 2,
Direct attack here.
3 perfect lethals.
1, 2, cancels.
Oh my god.
Direct it
1 down.
for 3 damage.
Triggers to 3.
Oh, okay. All right. And Sam is gonna take the
So
first
Daylight
game.
gets game 1. Okay, yeah, the 2 in stock.
That was an interesting game 1. Alright.
Was that still like the original climax that never got paid out from turn 1?
Yep.
Or from like turn 3 or whatever?
That never got paid out.
Wild.
The lowest he went down to was 1 stock at one point.
1 stock, yeah. Man, that's crazy. June had a huge lead in the early and mid game and just lost it on
US
a turn of
be like that, though?
many cancels coming off of that refresh counter.
So weird because like last tournament, I mean, yeah.
I'm not sure if denying the scries
Oh god.
even gets him the kill there, though.
Let me tell Randall I'm okay with no break, but it's up to you, rather.
We're good without a break.
Because that last cancel was on 1 anyway, so even if he had like denied a scry to get an attack for 3 to stick, I think the sides for 1 still just both cancel.
Yes, because they were
So-
one after another, right? So
Yeah, so even if he had attacked in a different order, I think we see Sam live at 3-6 there and get game regardless.
all right, so we agreed in advance that if either player needed like a bathroom break or anything like that before we go into the next game, we'd give them that. But looks like both players are good, so we are just going to be heading right into game 2.
I could just run a diagnostic or something after.
One is to your left, right?
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. So yeah,
One,
one's
three,
on
two.
my left.
Yeah, 1, 3, 2.
Okay, 1, 3, 2. That's for
One.
you.
Okay,
Let's
so we're
go,
going through
2, 1, 3.
2, 1, 3. Okay.
Yep.
And then going for
3 games set up here.
Oh right.
We'll see who gets to go first. Joon with a good taste, using the same sleeves that I have on my first going second cards. I don't actually know where mine are though, so Joon has to be beat there.
So we are going to see Joon going first once again. Let's see if he can get a similar opening to that last game. Honestly, with an opening like he had in that first game, you would think that he was in like a really good position to win that game, and then it all just kind of crumbled to dust in that last like turn and a half.
Yeah, it went downhill pretty suddenly.
Not
we
getting
see the
the same
opening
start.
Bat Clan, not quite as good.
1, 2, 3. Take it. Draw for turn.
Bat Clan, however, is still a 2K, which means it's very possible that it still can't be answered.
I just love how 2K is the new oversize in this matchup.
Yeah. Like he got the Grodd opening last game, which is the ideal opening, but it didn't actually matter that it was Grodd. It only mattered that it was 2K. And as long as he opens Bat Clan, Grodd, or Sengoku, which make up 10 cards in his deck, he gets that 2K wall going on.
Looks like we might see Sam being unable to answer the 2K once again.
Unable to answer it once again. This is.
Direct attack for 2 damage.
Do we see the cancel on draw trigger? No, we don't. I say this is just play the same game over again, right?
Yep. Just with less gorillas this time.
Well, fewer gorillas.
No clock?
No clock. Very
No
interesting.
clock. This man's about
Assert
to slam 2
dominance.
Grods. Oh no, okay, Grodd Brainstorm. Do we hits on the Brainstorm? Ooh, trying to decide between grabbing Infiltration or a level 1 combo here.
Depends on how well sculpted the rest of his hand is.
Oh boy, choices.
There are 3 level 1 combos already visible, not in his hand. So,
Yep.
if it were me, if I already had the Climax, I would definitely be going for the level 1 combo. Even if I didn't, knowing that this is 4 gates in this deck, and he could draw another one, I'd still probably go for the level 1 combo.
I would still go for the level 1.
Yeah, he goes for Infiltration.
Really?
It's very likely that Sam gets hit to level 1 this turn. Right?
Yeah. But the thing
Unless
is that
so if the frontal sticks for 1 and the direct cancels, he does get stuck at 0 another turn.
right. Oh,
But I would not bank
on
on Joon. Yeah, he's just going for it. Yeah, he's just going for it.
Gains 3K power.
Oh. I wonder if the idea behind Joon not grabbing a level 1 combo here is that maybe he has a Sengoku that he's going to try to grab a level 1 combo with on the next turn.
Yeah,
Sam doesn't have like a whole bunch of damage output. Maybe Joon's thinking he can end Sam's next turn at around like 0610, just Sengoku slam, and then just go from there.
Right. Right.
Power here. Next up. Front power here.
Yep.
For 1.
All right,
I feel like I would still be tempted.
Okay.
Right with
For 2. 3.
Cancel.
ooh, maybe he does get
does
stuck
he
at 0.
pass?
Cutting my deck.
Yeah, I think you do here, right?
Sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Pop this. Draw 2.
If it were me, if I didn't have a combo in hand at all and had the climax right, I'd be very tempted to grab combo off Brainstorm and Sengoku and have double combo. But maybe threatening with infiltrations good enough as well.
Mm-hmm.
And infiltration, ever since the restriction, infiltration's felt a little sketchy to me. But
grab this.
Yeah.
And power can't not go anywhere, so it feels bad.
So if you're Joon here and you see Sam trying to clear his own board by crashing,
Take the hand.
do you think it's worth to use BatClan and or Gorilla's effects to try to deny Sam from reversing his own characters? He would be paying 1 stock to not exactly +1 because the cards probably live anyway.
So
2K.
if it probably not, I think you want Sam to crash characters here because direct attacking is pretty good. With Sam having canceled twice last turn, having a climax in his clock, like it really opens up possibilities where you can just like direct attack and hit 3s and 4s maybe. And I think that is really what Joon wants here.
In the back.
In the back.
And
Wow.
To combat.
Alright.
Maybe the idea of putting it in the back is that if his idea here is to crash the characters, which it seems like he's going to go for, if he were to put it in the front, that Kurumi wouldn't have any other characters on the board in order to give it power and encore for the effect, right?
Right.
1 hit.
I would have put it in the front and sided maybe though. But hear me out. What's gonna happen here? Oh, he can't go to level. He only has 2 stock. Okay, I was gonna say if he went to level 1 off of this, right?
That is,
Oh, Sengoku plus grappling hook.
Well, not Sengoku plus grappling because he only has 2 stock, so he could.
No, but
he
he's
can't
a
do it
0-5
now.
though.
Right, he can't do it now. But if those attacks had like hit a soul trigger or something or stuck more damage, then grappling hook like ruins that 1/1.
Yeah, and he already has
Right,
infiltration
you
in hand
pull
to
it
run
to
it
the front.
over.
Exactly, yeah. You can pull it to the front, minus 1k it, and just run it over.
You wouldn't even need a -1k it.
You wouldn't, yeah, you wouldn't even need to really. It would depend on what's in his hand, but we know he has the infiltration. It's big enough.
Yeah, and Sam wouldn't even be able to counter for it because
So,
it's still
like,
at level 0.
Yeah, even. Yeah, I don't think there's any world. I mean, so Sam probably not knowing the grappling hook is a thing he should be worried about here. Like, in the world where you know about grappling hook, I think you just put the 1/1 in the front row and side attack twice every time.
Going for the draw
Because,
Batman.
like-
Okay.
Joon just wants an excuse to slam this book.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
I would too.
0.
Get that clean middle there.
There's 2 sticks in here.
Yeah, if he had actually
There's the thing,
gotten
like,
his hands
the
on
damage difference. Yeah, the damage difference between direct attacks here versus frontal attacks, and like possibly having the 1/1 at 75 with encore to win a lane. I think that's huge.
Power here.
So what happens if just like 8 damage goes through here?
Direct. Draw.
Right?
It's a yikes.
For 3.
That's pretty bad. Like this comes for 3,
Take it.
3 sticks.
second to decide colors.
I feel like if Joon was able to get his hands on another climax on this turn, like maybe it was like a pants climax, he probably just keeps those 3 zeros in the front row, just slams the climax, and then goes for back-to-back climax turns. But in this case,
Yeah.
it seems like he only had the book.
1, 2, 3. Take it.
Yeah, 3 sticks. Like, it's very
no.
possible that this also just sends him to level 2.
4 climax.
It's kind of a coin flip as to whether he cancels this one or not.
4.
Salvage to pants.
2, 3.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's any world where leaving your board empty in that spot is right. Because like we know that Sam has gone through some number of climaxes, like 100%. He probably has 3 in his deck.
6 cards.
And now we see another spot where he's at level 2. Doesn't have yellow here. He's at level 2, no yellow, relatively small hand, and only 2 stock. And he's 5 cards in hand after drawing for turn.
Oh, I just hope my board lives
It was
forever
honestly
now.
just like,
Thanks to some,
I see some people in chat are like, was it correct to crash
2K,
there?
2K, 5K.
And like you could make argument for both sides. The thing is that Sam knew that Joon was out 3 copies of his level 1 combo, because as we said earlier, he had shown 2 off the brainstorm on his turn 2, and there was 1 in the clock. And so Joon had the option to go for either version if he were able to acquire one, like he did on this last turn with his Sengoku with a Salvage Riki effect. He had the option to go for either one. And so it's basically just like, I feel like if you were going to crash there, you either crash both or you side both.
Right, like
Yeah, it's
crashing
already...
crashing has not stopped Batman from doing anything. That's the problem, right?
Right.
If Joon wanted to leave reverse targets, like you shouldn't be concerned about the side leaving reverse targets, right? Because if Joon wanted to leave reverse targets, he has a Grodd and like his board was a Grodd, Bat Clan, and a Bat Clan target. Like he could have forced like reverse targets on the board if he wanted them.
Yeah.
So crashing, I don't think does you good there.
I actually think in a way, like considering that Joon knows that Sam was out 4 already at that point, and seeing that Sam wanted to front anyway, I feel like Joon just kind of is like, okay, I'll let it happen, and then on the next turn when I play my climax, I'm just gonna punish you, and then that's exactly what ended up happening here.
Yep.
So with regards to Sam's apparently low hand size, looks like he is going to get a little bit of help with the 1-0 Kotori combo here.
Yeah,
That's
he
the most
does. He does have both the yellow to clock, the 1-0 Kotori, and hopefully the climax in hand here.
I don't believe we've seen any of his choice climaxes so far, so...
I'm going to be completely honest. With his hand size, like it was not impossible that he had to clock yellow to play the 1-0 as like something that could reverse a 0. Right? Because the Shido on its own doesn't reverse those zeros.
Right.
So it's possible he had to just do that to get a playable, only having 4 cards in hand, but I think it's probably a little more likely that he does have the climax.
Getting the counter.
And it looks like he has it.
Power here, the salvage. And I'm going to play this.
Oh, he doesn't have it. No,
Wow.
He doesn't have it. He had to clock the yellow to be able to play something that could reverse a level 0.
Alright.
Yikes.
Well, it doesn't look like Joon's going to be taking much this turn. So I think now the question becomes, do you Bat Clan your 1-0 combo? What I think is interesting is that Joon had books in waiting room and decided to salvage a pants off of his pants climax.
1, 2, cancels.
I'm a little
I'm going to
unsure about that line.
front attack here. It's 9-5 for choice. And I'll be
What if he already has another book in hand, and then he decided, I'm gonna get the pants already for super late game.
Is Sam like dead here? Or not dead, but like level 3? Because he just played another climax and triggered a climax.
Right. So he's got 2 climaxes left in deck. So it's definitely possible for him to go to 3, but it's also still very possible for him to cancel with those last 2 climaxes. Honestly, I feel like for Joon, the play here just becomes play 3 attackers, play the climax.
Yeah.
Side. It depends on Sam's deck size.
Depends on what you're attacking. Yeah. I think you try to. Honestly, like, I think you crash. Like, I don't think you side. I think
you just greed for the damage.
Go for the damage. Yeah. Like, that Sengoku's not doing anything in the back. Like, you can just shove the Sengoku up and play a thing and attack 3 times.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, he has the draw.
6K here.
This is the honor
He's
first
going.
one.
Yeah.
And looks like he's gonna...
That means he has the climax, probably, right?
Yeah, so I guess when he salvaged the pants next turn, it wasn't for this turn. He's just gonna slam a book now.
Yeah.
Getting an infiltration. If you're gonna slam anything, you slam the Sengoku, right? Not the Grodd.
Oh no. Oh no. Brainstorm.
It pays out the climax.
Nothing.
7?
7, yeah.
You have only 1 stock, okay. But you have like 6 hand? Yeah.
I started with 7 in hand.
Oh.
And then, like, well, 8, I guess, because I bounced the thing back.
Right.
It's probably just buff middle. I still think that he should crash the Sengoku instead of the Grodd.
I still have a chance. 7 and 32. For your next turn.
I mean, like, what good is the Sengoku doing
Probably.
here, right? And then, like,
Yeah.
if you crash it, that means that you have easier access to getting it back in case you need it for, like, the mill 2 later on. Or, like, the power buff.
Yep.
Meanwhile, the Grodd on the board... The Grodd is better on the board than the Sengoku to stick around.
Right. So something people are talking about here in chat is like the 10 damage sticking being a little bit high roll, right? Where we expected maybe 2 attacks to stick, like 1 to 2, and then the other 1 to cancel. Maybe if he's lucky, 2 cancel. But the problem is that you shouldn't base your decisions on turns like that off of the expected, right? If you get the triple cancel, that's obviously unexpected and really good for you. But you should worry about if the worst case happens, which is taking 3 attacks. You're in a lot worse of a position if those 3 attacks 10 damage than if they're less, right? The 3 direct attacks puts you at level 2 with almost no resources and super far behind. Playing a little safer, where even if all 3 attacks stick, you're at a much better chance to come back. Like, you're losing your characters either way, right? So you would rather them sponge the damage so that if the worst case happens, you're not like trying to climb up a freaking level and a half hill like he is here.
Yeah, so like you look at the you're talking about like you take like their raw damage potential without climaxes and you just like examine that and then make decisions based on potentially that. And then
right, it's the same thing as like if you're attacking, right? You have like 2 climaxes in your 11 card deck or whatever. Like on average, you're gonna trigger 0, and like if you're unlucky 1, right? But you probably still don't go for that deck state. Like if it was me, right, I mill down, assuming I can, right? Instead of taking that, because if you trigger 2, you just eat a level and lose the game.
Right.
And like I don't think in a game like this you should ever like willingly be putting yourself in situations like that.
Yeah, Joon plays 3 of the on reverse and 1 of the demo deck draw 1. And then he also talked about in his interview potentially going to 2 copies of each.
And then it's a 6-5 tier 6K.
Yep.
So he did end up going for the side on that first attack with the Grodd. I guess that's the reason why he decided to put it there instead of moving the Sengoku to the front.
Yeah, that does give him the option to return it to hand if he. It's pretty good if he triggers a climax here, right? Like if he does trigger the climax, he can pay it out.
Okay.
I mean, he's not in
Which
any urgency
he's
not in any urgency to pay a climax out anyway, even if he triggers one right now, because
right, he can just raise
refresh.
the next turn.
Yeah. But Sam is just gonna go straight up to level 3.
Yep.
Let's see what he can do with it this time.
Alright. That's dead. Untap, draw for turn. Yeah. Oh god, of course.
This is once again not the spot I would want to be in if I was Sam. He managed to climb his way out of the hole last game, but I'm not sure we'll see him do it twice. This is also a bigger gap than there was last game.
Yeah, I believe last time it was like 2-0 to 3-1, and now it's like 1-4 to 3-1. And Joon's got 2 characters on the board to help reduce income damage.
Full hand, like this is just another spot where like even if Sam sticks some damage here and sends him to like 2-2 or 2-3, like he's just gonna early play a healer, like and keep swinging. Sam notably does have the 3-2 assist on board this time, which he didn't have it as early last game. So the 2-1 plus early play combination might not be able to bully his board as hard here. So resource-wise, we see Sam in a little better of a spot. Damage-wise, not at all.
What I'm interested in seeing is how he's going to allocate his stock, because in the previous game, we were talking about how we felt like he should have been saving the stock for like potential heal plays, and instead he used it to like hard play a 2-2. Let's see what he can do with it this game. Also, he's got 1 refresh counter in his clock right now. Not sure where the second one is. We'll probably find out at some point.
Some hand is better than none. Pay 2.
Is going to use it
so
on this time.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
It's full field.
Especially if there's a choice trigger left in his deck, because if there's a choice trigger left in his deck and he triggers it, he can grab the refresh.
Yep. But the thing is like, how good is it here to use? How good is it here really to use 3 stock on refresh counter?
Yeah, it depends. Worst case scenario, it's a 2-5 counter, right? Which could help you win a lane against an early play. Because that Toka is only 10-5.
Yeah. Well, in any case, we are going to see the choice climax with the combo being played. So even if he gets refresh counter, it's not going to help at all, because
he's going to force himself to refresh.
4 damage.
Unless he misses his combo.
Yeah, and it would have to be first attack or first check miss.
First check miss. Yeah. I don't even know if he has climaxes left in his deck at this point. I don't know where the third choice is.
Joon decides to go with the +1, get the Grodd back.
4?
Yeah.
Immediately cancels.
I think I know what's left in my deck, so let's plus something. I'm going to, what do you call it? Direct attack, climax combo.
I wonder if this is just a known +2, guaranteed, and then there's no
It,
climaxes
it
left in his deck.
probably is.
For
Yeah.
3 damage. Refresh.
Oh, out of all the cards you could have added to hand there, I think the Climax Swapper is the one you probably wanted most.
Yeah, that
Right?
thing, that ended up being the trigger. Wait, that doesn't go to hand, man. That goes to trigger. That goes to stock.
Where's my chat?
Oh wait, that's not in my hand. That's
Yeah, there we go.
yeah.
There we go.
What am I doing?
Speaking of wanting the Climax Swapper in hand the most, probably.
Grab that back. I don't know. Drop something.
You're gonna see a three going into June's face here. Honestly, if June cancels one of these next 2 attacks, that just like basically seals the deal. I think he's just in such a good spot with such a good card advantage lead. He does end up taking this one though.
Right.
Sets him up to potentially play early play on the next turn.
No, I pray don't hit a.
Leveling the grappling hook. Sam's got pretty good handle on the board right now. Don't think he's gonna be able to move anything.
1, 2, 3 damage.
Yeah, doubtful.
1, 2 cancels.
Nice.
Though
Yep.
we say that, but
Your card. Is any-
let's see, where is grappling hook here? It is possible that he uses grappling hook to push something to the backstage to direct attack
Ah, yeah, that is definitely a play.
if he needs to. I don't know it'll depend on what damage he has to, but if direct attacking, maybe not this turn, but possibly next turn, could put him in a spot where he denies refresh counter or gets extra important damage.
Right.
That could be the line.
So looking at the powers on Sam's board, defensively we're looking at 10-5 on the early play, 6k on level 1 combo, 9-5 on the 1-1. So
No, I didn't even have any selection to grab one.
I'm not sure why he. Okay, I guess if he wants to try to widen the power across the board, but the thing is that the Kotori combo is just so small defensively that like a lot of stuff that June's able to put on the board is able to contest it very easily. I feel like it probably was just better to put the Toka early play on like the bottom and then the 1-1 in the middle and the Kotori on the top to make sure that both the 3-2 early play as well as the 1-1 were getting the boost from the Kotori support, and then just let the Kotori go.
Yeah, making the 3-2 a 12-5 is probably, because now we see the Captain early play hits 10-5, 11, which still loses to a counter, but right, 9-5, yeah, it still loses to a refresh counter. But like Toka early play is just gone.
Yep. And you're 11-5?
This is 11-5, yeah, correct.
11-5.
You're 9-5.
Ooh, does he slam the counter to save the 1-1?
Oh man.
So that was for
Doesn't look like.
1, 2, 3. Take it.
See the 3 stick.
This is one of those
See,
moments.
this is the spot. If he had the direct attack, this is lethal. He could have grappling hook.
I mean, he already has no stock. He doesn't
he
need
gets
that.
the soul
Who
trigger
needs,
anyway.
Who needs grappling hook? Just trigger soul.
He's grappling hook, just trigger soul. He didn't get it last game, but he got it this game. We'll see if that kills or not.
This is one of those moments where both players
Is he
are just like.
contemplating refresh counter here? Does he have refresh counter?
I mean, he would have done it the attack before, right?
Yeah, probably.
Like if he wanted to double purpose. Well, I mean, okay, this does save the 1-0 combo if he does counter. Oh, he's just gonna regular back up.
Yeah, I want to counter. That's fair. He has to cancel.
Go ahead.
I was about to say this is one of those. There's no way I'm actually just dead 2 levels behind moments. Sometimes it just be like that.
Oh, sometimes it absolutely be like that.
All right, 5 stock here. He can play 2 healers. You really want this to be 2 healers. Or like, Yeah, probably not even Brainstorm
8K.
plus 2 healers, because you just want climaxes in your deck at this point.
Yeah.
That's not that's not a healer.
That's not a healer.
Looks like Sam's gonna play that other choice climax that he kept through the refresh.
Ooh.
Move to combat.
That's so awkward.
Oh no.
I'm going to
That's so
grab
bad.
Here. I guess climax.
He has to like standby out tutus for this to be worth it, right? He gets free fresh counter. That's
Take the hand, and finally trigger for 2 damage.
I mean, do you need to standby out tutus? You probably just want to not trigger climaxes at all, right?
that's also probably true.
Didn't
Yeah.
trigger.
Like best case scenario is like these Kotoris are giving him like really high quality endgame cards, stuff like. Honestly, even the other 3/2 Kotori is really good here because it has on play salvage, right? You can get a heal off of it.
Yes.
For 2 damage.
Yes, you can. That card has a lot. Like I know a lot of people have talked about maybe going up to 3 Kotoris, right? Because that card's on play effect is actually huge.
Yeah, and like, that way you can have it on board for like standby target. You also have one to play.
Yeah.
You have one to level maybe.
For those who are not as familiar with Data Live's card pool for some reason, it's on play. Oh, you got both free fresh counters. It's on play. You can choose to A, salvage a character. B, give your board 1k and a soul, which I do quite often because Kurumi's reach is not amazing. Or C, check top 3, add 1. However, we see Joon go level 3 here. Maybe, just maybe, we see a repeat of last game.
Oh my god.
It's possible. It's possible. We know the free fresh counter is in hand. We know the climaxes are somewhere in deck. We could just see the quadruple cancel into kill from 3-0, I guess.
Yeah, I guess I do have the hand on core. Okay, hand on core.
It's not likely, but
Encoring the 1/1. So this does give him
the 1/1.
This does give him more opportunities to do a free fresh because otherwise Joon can just abuse the fact that he's
Yeah,
killed
that's
lanes.
true.
But the thing is that this does, however, give Joon additional opportunities for siding. That being said, Joon has 2
Right.
stock.
How many climaxes?
Yeah, but 2 stock is still enough to combo.
Yeah, 2 stock is still enough to combo. So we're just gonna see what he can make out of this play. Notably, Joon we haven't seen a single pants climax out of this deck rotation yet. So if Joon plays like a top check 3 add 1, it's
Probably just chilling in hand, honestly.
Okay, 2.
Yeah, it's definitely in hand.
3.
just look at top card, take top card.
Depends. If there's more climaxes in deck, I think he goes all the way just to maybe mill them and not trigger them.
Right.
But it looks like there was a draw trigger on that last card, maybe. I couldn't quite tell. Yeah, it was another gate trigger. Okay.
Yeah. If Joon had more cards in his deck, then you could have made the argument to stop there because it means that he can pay it out with the restand effect. But he only had 3 cards left, which means that with 0 stock going into the attack phase, the earliest that the Batman Ninja could restand would be on the 3rd attack of the turn, which means that he would have run out of deck already. So there's basically no point. Might as well just look at all 3 cards, get those climaxes, or, well, I guess in this case, just 1 climax. But get it back into the deck.
5, 5, 7, 5.
And we have like just a huge lineup of lethal swings here.
Yep. Everything wins.
1000 power here.
Everything wins.
Direct for 3. Refresh.
And it's a clean trigger.
I guess I'll save us the trouble of seeing. I'll cancel off top.
He gets
There's
the
1.
cancel.
Guess it does.
1 down, 3 to go.
Joon going to be refreshing into 3-2 here. So if Sam pulls off the miracle cancels, then
Because of the cancel.
Joon not looking in a great spot here in the end of it all.
Yeah. the power play is not seeing the gate trigger in top 3 off the Batman and knowing it's the last card of your deck and being able to side for 3 with the Catwoman.
Ooh,
that's the power play.
wouldn't that be great?
Though, to be completely honest, like, if you attack with the Catwoman first there, I don't think there's any world where Sam free freshes, right? Like, his deck is probably good enough without it.
Yeah, not this early into the attacks.
Yeah, so maybe fronting with the Catwoman first. Or I guess not, because you want the option to side later if you need it. But
I mean, there's really no option to side if
I guess you
everything's
don't.
legal.
Yeah, there's no option to side. So yeah, I think attacking with the Catwoman first was just right.
The only time you ever side is if Batman
No, wait,
triggers
how
Soul.
big is that Kotori? Hold on.
Wait, that Kotori's like
6K
like
7.5.
7.5.
Oh yeah, he still can't counter over it.
1, 2. Yeah, good game.
Oh, he's
I know
sided
it's
for
3.
3.
Wait, he sided?
He sided for 3.
Oh my god.
Well, it makes sense, right? Because if you side and it only hits for 2, then you side for 2, side for 1.
Oh, you
With the
double
Batman.
side with Batman.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
definitely true. Yeah.
Yeah. So even if he doesn't hit the soul trigger there, he gets really good numbers off the restander.
Yeah. Like most of the time, you would argue
Yeah, that's pretty big.
that just like the more lethals, the better. But sometimes, if your opponent's like super duper mega compressed, you can make the argument of like trying to go for this like little piecemeal victory plan.
Especially trying to play around the refresh counters there. So I believe Sam is going to be stepping away for just a moment before we go into game 3. So it's funny you mentioned sometimes you just die, right? Last night I was playing a game at my locals against Awabuda, and they were at 2-2. And I got hit to 2-0, like clock to 2-1, play an early play healer. I'm playing 8 standby bow free.
Okay.
And I just he has two cards left in deck. No, eight climaxes out. And I just attack 3 times. I end up attacking for 3-4-4. It just kills him from 2-2.
Okay.
It just happens sometimes.
8 standby, casually attack for a trillion for lethal.
8 standby, yeah, it was like
Yep.
front. It was a front for 2 that hit a soul trigger, and then 2 directs that both hit soul triggers.
Yeah. Speaking of 8 standby damage
Crazy.
stories, I have a pretty funny story from some testing I was doing over the last couple days. So I've been testing 8 standby Bang Dream with some of the new stuff. So like standby Mashiro 3-2, right?
Okay.
And so one of the decks I was testing against was Hassan was testing the 8 pants build Tai Arisa, and he was like tri-fielding Arisa, and I'm just looking at my climaxes that don't give any global soul. Meanwhile, my entire field is getting -2 sold everywhere, and I'm just like, this is hell. This sucks. Can I deal damage, please? And he just slammed pants turn after turn after turn after turn, and he's just like, no, you're not doing damage.
No damage. Damage not allowed.
Yeah. But on the flip side, yesterday I was actually playing a game against Nijigasaki 8 standby, and I was playing the Tai Arisa deck because I wanted to try it out myself, and I tri-fielded Arisas.
Oh, yeah.
And he's got all these eyes with freaking twin drive on the field, and I -2 soul his whole board, and then I still take 4. Like, dude. And then he has like the 1-0 eye back row that just every time
game 3.
Yeah, every time he triggers soul, he gives 2k, and then he got a card to like 31k and just killed my 15k Arisa for the memes. So yeah, the duality of 8 standby.
The duality of 8 standby.
Yeah. It's like, wow, 8 standby lacks soul. Meanwhile, I'm over here neg 6 soul to my opponent's board and take 4.
All right, so for the 3rd game in a row, we see Joon going first.
And I'll do 2-1-3 as well.
We see him open one of his 10 2Ks yet again. The worst part is even if he opens the 2K and then Sam opens a brainstorm, like you don't want to crash that, right?
Probably not. Speaking of brainstorms, has Sam seen a brainstorm in this entire series?
He hasn't had one on board, I don't think. We do see the garage opening.
Yep, Joon opening with a 2K, once again, asserting 2K supremacy.
He didn't hit the soul trigger this time, though.
Yeah. I would like to take a second to clarify, since it has been brought up in the chat. Data Live normally does have answers to 2K in the form of the on death Akatsuki, because 1500 base on attack you can give 1K anywhere, so that lets you answer 2Ks. The thing is, Sam isn't running any copies in his list, instead going for a full 4 copies of the TD Toka, 3 copies of the Shido with the pay 1 sec. You usually don't run too many copies of that Shido, right? Like maybe it's usually like 1 or 2.
I usually play 3.
Okay.
I like the mill. I could see arguments for like 2 and standby. I think the choice decks, if you're going heavier into choice than Sam is and playing the event, you definitely want like 3. The standby decks, I can see an argument for 2.
Okay.
Once again, no board answer here.
Mm-hmm. Deja vu. I have seen this board state before.
I have seen this gorilla before. Oh! Are we gonna see him slam to stand by and answer the
Wait,
garage?
does he have the answer? Does he have an answer? Wait. Oh,
What?
Oh, you can.
What?
Okay.
Why would you put that in the back? Stop that! Stop letting Joon bully you.
He also could have made Joon pay a stock. He could have forced Joon to
Yeah,
pay a
he
stock
could
for the
have.
Grod.
He could have forced a stock for the Grod and put the 1/1 in front. Like, Joon can't answer a 6K at 0, right?
It would be very.
He
rare.
can, but it'd be very rare.
It would have to be like exactly like
multiple
Sengoku, Mill Climax, and then like back in time, right? Plus like brainstorm.
Right.
Oh wait, he has back in time.
Yeah, speaking of back in time.
So this means he will be able to contest the Toka. Ironically, with Sam's deck normally being unable to answer 2Ks, Joon.
Imagine if he had the stock to grappling hook the 2 or the 1/1.
There's no way. Oh, Joon's just going in.
Yeah, he's going for it.
With a climax as well.
Like, Sam can't cancel my level 0 turn 3 games in a row, right?
Oh boy.
Oh my god.
Oh, not like this.
Oh man. He's like, well, if he canceled on turn 2, game 1 and 2, he's not gonna cancel on turn 2, game 3, right? It's just not gonna happen. Law of averages.
Okay, alright. We got
Law of averages. However, 1-3 isn't that bad for Sam. And like, if I were like, based on how games 1 and 2 went, I would much rather be willing to push him to 0-5 and then try to do the big push. But yeah, sticking a level there is still really good for Joon. So we'll see how that pans out. 4 stock characters to soak board. He can +1 off of Grodd if he needs to. Like, Joon's still in a super solid position here.
Yeah. Like, even though he canceled 1 attack, like 7 damage with the other 2 attacks is still huge. Like, Sam just got sent straight from 0-3 to 1-3. So we need to see how he can bounce back from that. Currently, Joon is out 2, presumably 3 climaxes. We haven't seen any books yet. But usually we can be on the assumption that he has one of the books in his hand already. And if not, then yeah, we can just assume it's in his deck. Oh, he does have that. Oh no, it's 2 pants. 2 pants. He's out 1 pants in waiting room and 1 pants in stock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I have all the things.
Whoa, sir.
Power here. Spawn out.
Okay, this makes sense. He's finally standby to front row.
Move to combat.
Yeah.
All right.
This makes
going
sense.
to front
I like
row
this
here.
play.
This play's making a lot of sense for the board, but at the same time,
1 damage.
in terms of the
He's,
damage,
he's not
raise,
he's not gonna push very much damage, but he's gonna win board and then gets a direct attack next turn probably.
2 damage.
1, 2.
So Anthony eaten 7 last turn. Because right, the reason he's eaten damage the previous games is because
All right.
he's canceled a bunch and then taken damage on his remaining deck. This time he just took a bunch of damage, so he still has probably climaxes.
right?
Meaning Joon probably can't like punish super hard here.
And then power here. So.
I mean,
Like
there's
I
definitely-
don't think
There's definitely
Even
still a
if we see-
possibility that Sam goes to 2 here, right?
there's definitely still a possibility Sam goes to 2. But I don't think we're gonna see him go to like 2-4 or whatever. Right?
Yeah, start
Kind
it
of a.
Well, we would hope not.
We would hope not. I think it's a lot more likely maybe you see him go to like 1-6 or 2-0,
how big is
and then
9K?
get direct attacks to maybe close the gap here.
Is 1K
Mhm.
Oh,
plus
the
3.
brainstorm's also on it. Okay.
Yeah. So 10K.
So you decided to pump
There's
3K to
one
Toka?
thing like yes,
It's just
that's
basic,
what
right?
it looks like.
Okay, so you were saying there's one thing.
I was actually hoping.
The one thing you have to worry about, or you have to like be conscious of when you're playing against standby decks, is that pushing them for damage doesn't just mean that they're like 1 level higher than you. It usually means that they're playing 2 levels higher than you, which can allow them like really huge opportunities, especially if they have good level 2 like early play games, to stabilize. So like pushing standby decks for damage. A lot of people will say that like, oh, the way you beat standby decks is you just deal a lot more soul like faster. But sometimes that can put you in really awkward spots where like the rest of the game you're losing board, and then your opponent gets to make up the soul damage that you pushed by direct attacking, and they're gaining more resources because they're not having to re-overplay their characters. So not only is their compression getting better, they're also now pushing as much or more damage than you. And it's especially big with DAL, right? Because they have those tokens in the backer that are going to let him
Yeah.
like dig for even cancels. And the first 2 games when we saw him get pushed, we didn't see him get like a board state going, right?
Mm-hmm.
He got pushed and was just low resource and couldn't stabilize. But this game we've seen a board get big, and as someone in the chat pointed out, the dice are multiples of 500. So Kurumi is plus 2,500 right now. 1K from Brainstorm and one of the tokas, and the 2/2 got the other toka.
Oh, okay.
So it's plus 25 and plus 15. So we see a 10K and a 12K.
Right. Still both of them well outside of the range of anything.
Yeah,
that
well
might come onto the table
outside of
option.
Batman's range.
Right, Batman and Alfred.
Grabbing a combo and Alfred.
Grab these 2.
Sure. Sounds good.
Looks like that's a
Interesting that we
draw
see him
combo.
grab the Alfred here.
Probably just prepping
He's
it
not
for
used
later.
that a whole lot. Yeah, he's not used that a whole lot in the games that we've seen so far.
How many CX in the waiting room? To double check.
There are.
Kurumi would be 10K in this instance because she's 7/5 with her ability plus 2/5, so that's 10K.
How many climaxes are you on?
Yeah.
There's 3 in my waiting room. All Creamy 6.
Okay.
Yeah. This time I'm not out 6 on turn 3. Feels good.
Yeah, not being out 6 on turn 3 is a vast improvement over the
Okay, that's the one.
over some of these other games.
I'm gonna frontier 1,000
For
per
sure.
Smaller for 2.
Okay.
Yeah, another thing going back to that thing you were saying about standby earlier has like if you get hit up very high and you start being able to stand by big things. Another really good thing, and this is also an indicator of like which standby decks are better or worse than other ones, is that
I'm gonna.
the cards that you're potentially bringing out, like
Side attack here.
they might not directly impact your hand advantage, or they might not directly give you like an increase in damage, but certain abilities they can just make your quality of life much better. So like twin drives, maybe like Nijigasaki on your 2-2s, or maybe like memory kicks to keep your opponent from getting off like very specific effects or keeping specific cards on board. You just have some certain options in certain decks just give you a lot of increase in control during the mid game that can just make recovering a lot easier.
So we do see 2-1 as the final damage here, which is reasonable. 2 attacks stuck for 2.
Yeah. Wait, what extra 1k? 7.5 plus 2.5 is 10.
Yeah, so 7-5 base, 1k from the brainstorm bounce.
Oh yeah, the extra 1k is brainstorm. Yeah, I think that's what he meant. Yeah, because he played a standby last turn, bouncing the brainstorm to give 1k cross turn to the middle.
He put brainstorm in center stage and then bounced it to play the 2-2.
There are 10 cards in deck.
Oh wow! Alright, draw for turn. This is my big chance, boys. All right.
This is my big chance, he says.
Oh god, how do I do this?
What? Big chance to do what?
Big chance. Hold on.
I guess catch up in damage, right?
Yeah, I would assume so.
Ideally, you just play an early play healer here, right?
Yeah, I think that's probably the best thing to grab. And then he has out quite a few of his standbys, but maybe even standbying out a 3-2 Kotori if that's available, preferably on like third swing, right? So like if you have a free fresh counter, you can pay it out.
Yes, brainstorm is cross turn. Those effects when they're not cross turn pump 2k.
Yeah,
but you can see the 2k
such as like Kaguya.
Kaguya was drop search.
Shit. Yeah, Kaguya Stratia.
Clocks Kotori brainstorm. Early play heal? Heal it off?
Dude, early play heal to heal that off and then stand by it out is insane. You can also leave him with blue still, which is pretty good.
Right. He still has all the colors covered. Let's see what the play is. That doesn't seem like an early play heal.
That doesn't seem like an early play heal. He's just gonna. There might be another copy of it in his waiting, or they're just gonna stand by where the brainstorm is. Woo! Hit 2. That's really good. Well, maybe not. I don't have any cards in his deck. Oh no, that's perfect. That's gonna leave him with 4 cards, so he's gonna go to play the standby and get it back in. Losing 5 cards.
5 cards, yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering. I couldn't tell how many cards were. I was like, if he searches 2, is he gonna have 3 cards left in deck and then not be able to like play the standby and get it back, shuffle back in? But he will definitely be able to do that, assuming he has the standby in hand. I don't know if he does or not, but.
Okay, so if I grab these 2, then 6. I need more. 5 equals 7.
Looks like maybe changing his mind after all. I wonder if he really wants to try to get his deck to be 1 at end of turn instead of just 2.
Maybe.
I'm trying to think of how he would be able to do that.
He'd have to be able to get like a Shido Blink or something.
Right. But that's using a lot of resources just to remove 1 card from the
right.
deck.
Yeah.
Right.
It's always awkward. Hold on.
I think he'd probably just roll with it.
I guess.
Yeah, I think so as well.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. It's fine.
1, 2, 3. Okay. Sorry that took so long.
Good.
So I guess I bounced that to hand. Cross power there. No, cross power here.
Well, we know he has a standby now. He's talking about bouncing back to hand, giving power.
Yeah.
Now the thing is, he has the brainstorm on the left side right now. which means that
Right, which I don't think is where you want that to be. Yeah, there he goes.
There we
he
go.
goes.
All right.
Like power. I think this should be big enough to contest you everywhere. Okay, play this. Bounce the hand.
Whoa,
that's not a standby.
That's not a standby. Hold the phone.
All right.
Oh, we got baited.
Maybe this is what he
Maybe
meant by
there's
this
one,
is
maybe
my
there's one
chance.
left in his deck. Yeah, maybe there's one left in his deck.
Doesn't matter where I start, right?
He put the 3/2 on top of his waiting room.
So I'm always attacking here second.
Oh, he's just like, I'm gonna trigger standby. Watch me trigger standby.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
That's in the back. 3
It's like 2 left in his deck.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh yeah, 4. Sorry.
I think that might have been all of them.
4,
Yeah, that's probably the last one.
Well, I caught up in damage, kind of.
When he was looking through his deck, like, and could see the 5 cards, I'm sure he realized he was just like, well, we just go for it and hope to hit the standby there.
3 damage.
Well, if he does have 1 climax left in his deck, attacking with the Toka second here is definitely the go-to. That way he can rearrange the top 2, and then if the climax is within those, then you just put it second card so you don't trigger it.
Yep. Yep.
And then if you don't see it at all, that means it's just the bottom card of the deck, and well,
You're fine.
You're good.
I see my feeling. How many cards left in deck?
There are 3 cards left in deck.
We do see him catch up on damage here, which is what this turn wanted to do. So
Yeah, really pumping out the damage
Dead
with that
Alive
choice climax.
is
I am
Dead Alive is in this game.
to attack here for 2 damage.
Oh, and we get the cancel on 2.
All right, we have a game now.
How many climax?
We have a game. We've now reached the point. How many is that in waiting room?
I believe it's all 7 that aren't the one that he
That he just triggered. Yeah, so we'll see June refresh to 2/3, and then
I think your mic is muted or something. I can't hear you if you're talking.
it seems that we now have mic issues. That's funny.
First webcam issues, now mic issues.
First webcam issues, now mic issues. Webcam's fine, man. So.
I see your camera. Your camera's fine, but I can't hear. But I can't hear your voice.
Oh, we got in here. Oh, how am I going first one?
Video, so worst case, we can just use
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Oh, okay. I hear
Okay,
you.
Oh,
we are back.
There he's back.
I think,
He's back.
When I unplugged the webcam, it reset my audio settings, and for whatever reason, it decided to cut out then. So,
Okay.
because
alright.
like it had in Discord, it actually had the wrong audio input,
Yeah.
and I don't know why.
Okay.
Sorry about that. It's
Okay. How many climaxes?
7. It's missing the 5th
Yeah.
climax.
Yeah,
like
so just missing the standby that he triggered.
standby.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fuck. 3, 1, 2.
I think this is the first time in this series that Sam's board looks like something that I would
It's like a
consider
Data Live board?
a
Yeah.
standby Data Live board.
Yeah. Right. So June refreshes to 2/3. Sam will refresh to 2/3 as well. 2 damage will put him to 2/5. We'll have to see if he wants to go for the refresh counter here.
Put power here and power here.
And personally, if I'm June,
Yeah, you just.
the play here might just be if he has a climax in his hand. I don't know if he does or not,
I
but
actually don't know what's going on.
early play healer across from either of the level 1s and play a climax inside for 2.
No
Maybe I
problem.
shouldn't have
If you're gonna do that, you probably put it across from the weaker one, because otherwise the free fresh counter would actually cause it to get reversed if he attacks into the 1/1.
More early play?
You could do that, or you could side the 1/1 and kill the weaker one, right?
Oh yeah, true. Yeah. Looks like he's just gonna go for killing the 1/0 back row Toka like back row, quote unquote. It is in the front row.
Yeah. No grappling hooks today. Not yet, at least.
Yeah, firm control of the board here. Doesn't look like Sam's going to be giving up any slots anytime soon if he can help it. Next turn, he's going to move that 2-2 in front of the early play, just run it over.
Oh, did you see the hit on the brainstorm? You have to. Okay, he goes for another early play heal. All right. I was kind of wondering if he's going to go for the trial deck restander there, but it's very hard for him to start winning board, like getting reverses at this point. So another early play heal just keeps him low damage.
Right.
Now the question: does he have the climax? Because he still can't do the side for 2 guaranteed unless he has the climax.
Because the cross turn from brainstorm. Yep.
Okay.
Each pip is 500.
Ooh, it does not look like he has the climax.
He's just going to go for a front.
It is for 2 though. So are we going to see the free fresh counter come out here? This is a super wasted counter if it does, right? Like you get obviously the free fresh effect is good, but the counter effect.
Yeah, because it seems like the powers have been pretty hotly contested throughout the last couple games. So this might be a good counter to actually keep around as a counter, but instead it looks like he's just going to use it for the free fresh.
No, yep. Joon is forcing him to burn the 2500 counter on the lane where it definitely doesn't matter.
More importantly, this brings Sam to only 2 stock to work with on the following turn.
Right, which is pretty good. I mean, he only gets 1 level 3.
Yeah.
Or 1 whatever.
Yeah,
1 early play heal if he doesn't.
Presumably 1 heal. Next turn.
I would assume he doesn't go level 3, but you never know.
Yep.
There is 5 damage on this board, so he could go to level 3.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
3, 1, 2.
3, 1, 2. And that was for 2 damage, right?
Right.
Okay. 1, 2. Take it.
Okay, we see the 2 stick.
On reverse, I'll use this effect on the back first to look at top, scroll to bottom. I'll use this effect, look at top.
Time for Toka to do Toka things.
Top, look at top 2.
Okay, so there is going to be a cancel on this segment.
Rearrange like this. Go ahead.
Did you move it down?
Actually don't remember. So, do you want me to look at it again and confirm?
Yeah, go ahead and look at it again.
Yeah. Oh no, I kept it on top.
Kept it on top? Okay.
Yeah.
You know, the fact that he didn't remember immediately kind of makes me think that he has
Maybe
2
it's just
climaxes.
Oh yeah, it could just be 2 climaxes, yeah.
Because otherwise you just always keep it on top, right?
Cancel.
No, I think you put it on bottom. So the bigger attack always cancels. And if he like fronts for 1 first, you just take 1 and still cancel the 2.
I guess, yeah.
Like that guarantees that you never take the 2. Because if you put it on top, he could just ping it off the top with the 1 and then still stick a 2.
Yeah. I'll keep it there, do it again, look at top, keep it there, go ahead.
That's definitely 2 climaxes.
Yeah, cancel.
Yeah.
Dead.
Yeah, I guess that would explain the I actually forgot when he was asked about the order.
Yeah. Which climax did I put where?
What do I do here?
All things considered, this is a pretty good spot here for Sam. He didn't get launched straight to level 3, and he does have a chance to actually play the game a bit more at 2, unlike the last couple games. Early play heal here would be pretty huge.
10K.
For sure. For sure.
Alright, then probably the play ends up being moving the 2-2 Toka and the Kotori assist to the left so that he can... Yep, there we go. So he can attack over the Catwoman early play while also simultaneously proccing the Toka's effect. Brainstorm hit 0.
Miss.
Okay. Nice.
What's gonna feel really bad is if Joon has anti-change in hand though, because then you pop the 3-2 assist and beat the 2-2.
Ooh, that would be kind of nasty.
And he plays 2 copies, right? So he could very well have it in hand.
Right.
Sure. Move to combat.
Thing is that the cost of that is ditch 2, right?
Yeah, which is fine. He has 6 cards in hand. It would still leave him on 3 cards.
It's probably fine.
And it would keep his 3-2 on board.
Yeah, true. It's the refresh punch back.
I'm going to front attack here. 12-5. Yes, 12-5 for 3 damage.
Uh-oh.
Oh. Realize the trigger. Yep, that card. And finally.
Oh, he could rearrange the top 2 here. Yes. If he sees a climax here, you just put it on the bottom, trigger the other one. You get a nice first card cancel on the next turn.
Okay. I'm going to direct for 3.
Cancels.
Yep.
And Joon's gonna get a cancel.
Drop a turn.
Yep.
This is definitely not the spot you want to be in for Joon.
As start of your turn, power.
It's like missing the brainstorm and then not triggering climaxes means he's probably going to get at least 1 or 2 cancels here.
Mm-hmm.
No clock.
Okay.
No clock, gonna just bond into his finisher here with the Alfred. It's a ditch bond, and then he can also rest it to give that Batman additional power and hexproof. The hexproof, not going to do too much here, considering that Sam's build, unlike some other Daylight builds, are not running the 3/3 green event count. Actually, no. I take that back. That doesn't even target. That doesn't even target the opposing character. That targets your own character. So yeah, the hexproof.
Yeah, there's nothing that's really going to matter from the hexproof here.
Yeah, the power can definitely end up mattering though, considering Sam's board is constantly getting bigger and bigger, and he does have the refresh punch. So what will he be going for next?
The first card.
That token's sitting at 14k.
Sorry, you cut out. Did you ask
I
something?
grabbed the first card on the top 3.
Oh yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, perfect.
Now we just need to establish the third lane. The Bat Clan staying alive here on the left side could be pretty interesting. You'd potentially use it to grab back
Yes.
Yeah.
his Batman next turn. Because assuming he doesn't pay any more stock this turn, he'll attack 3 times, go up to 5.
You will have exactly enough to play it back down next turn if he does that.
Yeah. He'll go up to 5 with attacks, pay 3 for the restand, assuming he has it. Looks like he has it.
Go back up to 3 and then down to 2 to bounce.
Yeah, and then be able to just pay 2 stock to replay it next turn. And then since you can restand on the 3rd attack from starting with 0.
Yep.
You can just go for a restand on the follow-up turn.
Start a climax, 500 power here.
Sure. Actually, how many climaxes in your waiting room before you move to attack phase?
2.
2. Okay. Ooh.
2 out. About to play a 3rd.
And you have like 12 cards in deck or something?
I have.
Oh, actually more than that.
Yeah. I have like 16 cards in deck.
Gotcha. Okay.
5 and 16 for Joon.
Those are some pretty good numbers.
It is. It seems fairly likely to be able to. Oh.
1 for 1.
Yikes.
That's not a sideways
6
card.
and 6. That's 6 and 16.
Take it. On reverse. I'll use this effect first.
You would think when he took the first card off of the Batman top check 3 that he just
Yeah.
had it.
Maybe, I guess he's just playing for the long game here.
Let me think about this for a second.
Maybe the plan is just to have the board be like this for now, and then bounce the Batman back with the Bat Clan, and then go for
Yeah, I'll
go
leave
for
it on top, and
the
then I'll
play
use the
next
look at
turn.
two
Not
attacks
sure what the
here.
play ends up being, because if he bounces back, he'll only have 4 stock to work with.
Yeah, he won't go to double. He'll be able to play a healer and the restander next turn if he does that, but
And then 2/5.
going up to 5 stock here does leave him a lot more open to stock swap, though.
Very
Whereas, yeah. I'm gonna say a lot more. It's 5 versus 3, but like every card matters at that point when you're as compressed as he's gonna be.
yeah, especially if Sam ends up having access to multiple Kermies, that 5 turns into 10 with 2 stock swaps.
Right.
Just in case, how big are you?
Or 3, sorry.
three.
It's 11, 13K.
13K. Okay, sure.
So he is now going to 5 in 13 in his deck.
Okay.
Sounds about right.
Encore phase? Do I end Encore? I don't think I do. Yeah, I need that points 5.
So an average stock swap there should be hitting probably two climaxes.
Yeah, like 1 or 2 on average.
Which actually, like, the stock swap there isn't actually... It's not very impactful, right? Like... Because doing multiple stock swaps doesn't make it actually better.
Shit.
It's still pretty RNG, but I think the important part of that is just making it so that the climaxes aren't in a position to cancel, which is what Sam wants here because he just wants to push Joon closer and closer to the edge.
Right. It is really unfortunate if you stock swap and the attack cancels, and you stock swap and the attack cancels. Right? Like, even if you hit 3 climaxes on your stock swaps.
Right. But at that point, it's just kind of bad luck, because I feel like with that deck state and you just don't stock swap, then it's probably a pretty decent chance to cancel anyway.
Right. I mean, we're gonna see 1 to 2 cancels here, probably no matter what he does.
Mm-hmm.
Out of a coin flip, whether it's 1 or 2.
I can grab that into the back. Sure. That'll be in the front, but nothing I can do about that.
He might not even clock to level 3. He might not go for Kirby's here.
Should be fine then. Okay, so I have to.
If he has an early play healer, I definitely wouldn't clock to level 3.
Yeah, I feel like there's not much to gain for him by clocking to 3 right now.
Putting blue, sure.
He does go for it.
Blue.
It's only worth it if you're definitely trying to play the Kirby here.
Or if he wants more chances to draw into the standby.
Right.
Maybe he just doesn't. Maybe even if he has the Kurumis and the standby here, maybe he doesn't immediately go for it and just goes for like maybe another just Dirtle turn.
I think you definitely like at least go for the shuffle back, right?
Sizes?
How good is the shuffle back here? Because the thing is that I feel like the shuffle back just even with like
if your attacks are only for 2, maybe 3, shuffling him back up to 5 in what would that be, like 5 and 17?
Sure.
Yeah, maybe it doesn't help a whole lot. It's hard. There's not
at that point.
No
I
matter
feel
what
like
he does, it's not super impactful.
We just a standby.
The Kurumi, I want to say.
Yeah, so at that point, you're like, even if you shuffle back, it's still not impossible for him to cancel like once or twice. And then so as far as the follow-up turn goes, like assuming that your opponent doesn't like double, triple trigger climaxes on their next attacking turn, then you still have a very compressed deck that you have to deal with.
Yeah.
And you also would have used your climax for the Kurumi already. And considering that Sam ditched one just now, I would assume that he probably has one more copy in his hand, but I think it's very unlikely that he had a third copy of that same standby in his hand right now.
You have 5 stuff.
I have
To
5
potentially go for
stock.
back-to-back Kurumi turns or something like that.
Or, oh wait, but you
Toka 1-0 in the front is kind of sketchy here, but
So that's one.
Yeah, one climax in waiting room. If that was your question.
Yes.
Yeah, there's no reason to have that there over the drop salvage, right? Like the drop salvage should definitely be in the front.
-3, 13.
13 cards. Yeah.
All right, great. I think this counts.
because like if it's in the direct attack slot, the power doesn't matter anyway, and drop salvage A is just less useful to sit on board, and B can't be side attacked for precise damage.
Mhm.
That's lame.
Keeping that 1-0 up in the front, giving Joon potential side attack options. Probably not what we want to be doing here.
Let me make you try. That's fine. Can I grab that card? Possible. Better for this play too. Okay, play this. Play two. Can't heal.
Don't heal off of that.
Now 13 cards.
Okay.
So what I think might happen here is he's going to play the standby from hand and summon another 3/2 assist where the drop salvage is. So he pushed the 1-0 up because he wants to keep it on board.
That for next turn.
Huh, that would be...
Perfect.
Yeah, I suppose that's a potential play.
Play this.
Although it looks like he prepped a Kurumi.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. Same idea. But he wanted to stand by and keep the 1-0 on board.
Direct attack. For 3.
Direct attacking first.
Cancel.
This tells me that Sam might actually have the third copy of the standby
Yeah.
climax in his hand.
From the drop salvage 11.
So I feel like unless he's intending to go for the burn,
Or 2.
you always want to be attacking with the Kurumi first there.
Oh, to
Right?
improve damage odds?
Yeah.
I mean, he's not going for lethal here, right? So he's probably just looking to use the Toka reverse to potentially improve cancel chances
Finally.
and avoid triggering a climax. That's assuming that he's not going for the
Yeah, but
kill
you
here.
could still do the attacks in the opposite order, right? Where you do Kurumi and then 2/2 and then 1.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, you could definitely do that.
And like, there's not counters that you're worried about running into here.
Front and I'll stock swap you.
Stock swap.
Yep.
5.
Stock swap for 5. This is kind of an RNG stock swap here.
5.
Also, notably, Joon did not
Trigger for 3.
bounce his Batman back to his hand.
1. Cancels.
Okay.
Maybe attacking in the middle first was to force Joon to make the decision of whether or not he wanted to backclan the Batman back to his hand, because doing so would open up an extra direct attack lane.
Yeah. However, it would also, attacking with the 2/2 before stock swapping gives him the opportunity to pay out the and then the stock swap only for 4, right? So like it lets him pay out that climax guaranteed, and then even if he wants to stock swap, the stock swap is less impactful because it's fewer cards.
Yeah, that's true.
So like maybe that's not really where you want to be there.
Well, the stock swap did just show 1 climax that just got paid
Yeah,
out.
at least hit a draw. And neither of those two that he just top checked their climax. So it looks like there's at least one more over there in the stock. And he's trying to decide now if he goes for the third card or whether he tries to pay it out before going into refresh. He does just look at the third.
The fact that he didn't insta-take it makes me think it's some random garbage.
Yeah, it looks like he either drew one for turn,
Yep. How many CMs?
or there's 2 climaxes left over there in his stock right now.
Gotcha. Alright. Wow.
How many climax in your waiting room?
There's 6.
So Sam's out 6. And he didn't trigger any either.
3, 2 choice, 1 blank standby.
How many refresh counters in there?
Oh.
So Sam should still have a refresh punch in his hand, right?
There's none. 0.
Yeah, I believe he still has one.
Especially with 0 in waiting room.
So there's 6 climaxes in there?
Yeah, that's right.
6 in waiting room, refresh counters in hand. And my thinking is that he actually does have
Yeah,
the
13.
the last copy of the Kurumi standby. If there's 2 climaxes in there, like
Yeah.
okay, so he has at most 2. It's definitely gonna be incoming refresh punch, basically no matter what.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot you can do against this board state to really like
2, 1, 3.
dodge the counter and punish.
Right. So he's gonna have to let him have it.
Ooh, yikes! June's dead if he doesn't win this turn.
4.
Right, let's do 5 climaxes in deck maybe.
I believe so after the refresh point. So let's see what he can make out of this.
This is definitely coming down to it. See, the thing is, I almost, like, if I was June, right, I would have backclammed the 3-2 just to have 2 copies of the 3-2 to play down from hand to take 6 to get the next climax, right?
Yeah, I think so. Well, you know what would be actually kind of funny here?
Yeah.
Is we just...
What would be really funny here? So that Toka 1-0 is 1500, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if he can kill that.
So what's 1500? what's 1500 minus 2k? Is blow it up. Just grappling hook it twice, June. Come on.
Right. The problem is twice, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's done it before.
He would have to like he'd have to like play the grappling hook and then wait. Oh no, that's a counter. I thought that was a grappling hook as well.
And then play over it and then brainstorm it back and then do it again.
Yeah, I was thinking he only had 1 left, but he does have 2. That's not 1 in his level. That's the 1-0 back.
Yeah. This would also eliminate the problem of being forced to side into that lane potentially for the for trying to play around the free fresh counter. It's definitely a play.
Dude, if you direct with the restander in that lane,
So this is only 12-5.
right? Especially if he has it in hand
Get the brainstorm.
already, and he can like grappling hook, brainstorm, and then like first attack with the restander puts him back up to 3 card or 3 stock.
Yep.
And you just swing like 9 damage or whatever into that lane, you probably just win.
Yeah, and if we're on the assumption that Sam does indeed have another copy of the standby,
Have another standby.
Okay, so he's not going for that play. Oh
Ooh,
my god!
there were the other 2. I told you there were 2 more in there.
Yep.
Oh jeez. Right now he's thinking to himself that he should not have checked the 3rd card. Right? If he had just stopped at 2 and hard played that and grabbed the last card, he could have paid those out before refresh. There's another climax in there, right?
All right, so now it's
So
really
he definitely has it. He definitely has it, right? That means he saw 2
Yes.
and added 1.
So now we're gonna see how it works out. Here we go. So the lane you're buffing here has got to be the middle one, right? You gotta try to keep as many reverses as possible. Wait, really? Wait, that Kurumi's like 14.
Yes, that's right.
Well, if that's the one he intends to restand, he does get the reverse on the 2nd attack.
I mean, wouldn't you just rather restand the middle one because it has options to side because it's level 2?
Yeah, well, I think I would put the brainstorm in the middle and put the restanders across from the 3 and the 1. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so he wants all the side options. He wants to see exactly what this Catwoman sticks for,
right?
If it sticks, and go from there.
So if you're Sam, you just shotgun refresh counter here, right? Like every time.
Absolutely. Yeah, you have to.
So if that's the case, then June's first attack should be the one that isn't impacted by the counter giving power. So you'd probably attack with
just the
the
cat
brainstorm
woman into the
first.
3-2.
Yeah.
Yeah, you always attack the cat woman into the 3-2 first, too. Assuming he has the climax, I don't know what he's doing.
Oh, he definitely has the climax. The fact that he ditched one.
He has to have the climax.
Yeah.
Oh man. This is intense. This is coming out to this is game 3. Finisher turns.
This is the big one.
Who's gonna win?
This is definitely a good game 3 right here.
Sure. Yeah, that's fine.
Double brainstorm power middle. It's the only lane that matters.
1,000 power
So
in the middle. Okay, well.
Yep.
okay, so even with counter power, that Batman's still tying because they'll both be 15. On the second attack, it will be able to swing over. He's gonna go
Is
with
he
this
just
first.
siding here to get guaranteed damage? Yeah, side for 2.
Ooh.
If this cancels, it's
1,
over.
2. Take it.
Okay.
Ooh.
Interesting.
This is kind of
It
scary.
makes sense. It makes sense, but it is very spooky.
Maybe June's just mathed it out to going for 2+2 and then having having double 3 swings on the restand and trying to let the Batman with a side attack stick a guaranteed 2 to try to make the rest of it easier.
15k.
Does not have the counter.
Wait, didn't he pick up the
He
counter?
has to, right?
Didn't he get the counter?
I thought so, but
Swinging for 2. So you cannot restand on the one that's sided here anymore, right?
Correct, it's at the end of attack, so.
Yeah, just making sure.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so 2 and then.
he seems a little worried here. But I don't know. I mean, I'd be worried. Knowing me, I would free fresh counter and then just eat it all and die anyway. But
Don't you just love when you refresh counter with the intent to like get out of this horrible deck state and then just eat like 7?
yeah, it just doesn't matter.
Yeah, just pay 3 to lose.
It's like putting 4 clean cards back into the deck isn't negligible. Like, you're not getting like, your entire compression back.
Right, but considering Sam's deck state right now,
Oh, considering the spot, yeah, you have to do it anyway.
yeah.
It just doesn't help as much as like it might seem like it should help. But yeah, you definitely have to do it. Like, he's dead if he doesn't.
Yeah, just considering the raw number of climaxes he has left, this is a play that has to be done.
Yeah, it is impossible for him to live if he doesn't free fresh counter.
Assuming he has the last standby in his hand, right?
Right. Assuming that if there's actually only one climax in his deck, it is impossible for him to live unless he free fresh counters.
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't have the standby in hand, he could live. I still don't know that it's likely, but he could live if he double cancels on these attacks.
That would honestly be like the biggest flex ever if you just like have refresh counter
Sure, no backups.
and you
just
just
don't
don't
play
back
here.
up into that deck state. Wow, this guy's a madman.
2, take it
Oh boy,
on reverse. Look at
this is really coming down to it.
The heck? Oh, he puts it on bottom. I guess that helps a little bit.
There
I'm
are 10 cards left in deck.
hella
There's 10
confused.
cards left.
So even if, there have to be 2 and 9, right?
9 cards.
9 cards. So there's 2 and 8, right? There has to be. If he didn't free fresh counter there has to be 2 and 8 in like this top 8. The bottom card doesn't matter anymore.
Man, I would not like to
Level
take
2, right?
odds on
Yes, that's right.
canceling 2 and 2 and 8. 2 attacks for 3. That is
Oh my lord.
a yikes.
Yeah, these are both lethal.
Side for 1.
What the
What?
side for 1?
Take it.
Excuse me?
P3.
What? Was he like, I have to hit a trigger in my top 2? There's no way you do that. There's no way. What?
June, go for as many guaranteed lethals as possible. Also, June, side for one.
17k out of corner range for one.
Yep.
One, goddamn.
Oh my god, not
No,
like this!
June!
Not like this! Oh my god.
What?
The middle's dead.
Yep.
Wait, no it's not. He sided twice.
No, he fronted on the second one. It was front for one.
Oh, he did? Okay. Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, side would have been like -1.
Yeah. Okay.
Cards in deck.
Cards in deck.
Dude, June's dead.
10, 15,
I don't know, maybe he's
9.
not. He probably is though.
24, yeah.
June's got like 4 climaxes left and like 20 cards.
And you're 3-4.
This is where
Against-
June goes, guess what? Batman Ninja has Ruby counter and nobody knew. No 4, kill you.
Oh, please no.
Spoiler alert, they don't have that counter.
Do I heal down anyway?
If they do, he's not playing it.
I mean, this is where we find out if Sam has the standby after all, right? Because like we were on the assumption previously that he had the standby, and then when he didn't free fresh counter, we're suddenly back
Okay,
on the
they
assumption
do
that
have
it
that
might
counter.
be in deck.
For those wondering, Batman Ninja does have Ruby counter, but it only checks for villain tree.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
That's
It's a
actually
hard
so
one
funny.
too. They do also though have the pay 2 deal 1, which he doesn't have enough stock for. They have the burn 1 counter.
Go down anyway. Do any of the cards on your board do anything on my turn? Just to double
No,
check.
they do not.
Perfect. Thanks. Okay. And sizes of the Batmans, they're
10-5.
10 to 5. Yeah.
You know something? I feel like
Like,
if
I
Sam...
think you always just go for the 3 lethal, right? Twice. Even if he has free fresh counter, you just hope to stick a 3 on his refreshed deck. It still would not be that compressed.
I totally would have gone for double 3s there, like
Yeah.
1000%. Okay, I was gonna say that because Sam didn't put anything on top of his waiting room like he usually does when he plays a standby, that he didn't have it, but then he just puts that Kotori there, and it's like, uh-oh, here comes the standby. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait, what are you putting that there for?
He's gonna play another finisher or another healer, I guess.
Okay.
And he's gonna stand by over.
Standby over that. You know,
I don't know what's happening.
You know, I'm actually, depending on how much hand Sam has, I don't even think playing the healer was even necessary, because if he needs 4 hand to go for burn 3s, and you definitely just go for burn 3s here, right?
Attack here. Did you
Yeah.
to burn 3?
Oh, he does have
Oh,
4
he still
hand,
has
right.
hand.
Excuse me?
Swing for 4.
Oh, Jesus,
wait,
lethal.
1, 2, 3, yeah, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. That's it.
Wild.
Okay,
Oh, God.
there.
I was.
Okay,
scared
there,
of
buddy.
your attacks. But yeah, you only had like 2 CXs in deck, right?
I had
Or
3 total.
Oh yeah,
I had 2 left still, so I could have still lived that.
gotcha. Yeah,
Where's the
that's
window?
true. Because I only had 5 instances.
Crazy.
Do you have fifth attack?
Yeah. I could ditch 2 more.
Yeah, he has
Yeah, I
free
can-
fresh counter in him.
Yeah. You can live at 3-6 if I don't trigger enough.
If you don't trigger,
Yeah.
3, 6, 3. No, don't you just have 2 lethals? Because 6, 6, 3, 3. Right, I take one of the 3s.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
then
because
you
there's
have
only 3
4 attacks,
CXs.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's
So yeah, no matter what, it's
no
lethal.
way I live, yeah.
Yeah, that was lethal no matter
Oh,
what
God.
he canceled.
Oh god, your side attacks are so scary. If you trigger
Yeah.
there,
I mean, that's what I have to bank on.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you get like so many scries. It's just like not gonna happen.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah, so June's saying that he
would've
didn't
been,
want
I would have
to...
actually cancelled one of them because I drew
If
the
he
Cruise
frontaled
deck.
into
That
the
was super
refresh counter,
lucky.
he was going to
But,
give scries, and he didn't
yeah.
want that.
Did
But
you
I
do
think
just
you
Top deck that this turn.
Yes, I
I
did.
think you have
I'm
to
so
just give
sorry.
scries.
That's what I needed you
Yeah, I
to
think
not
so.
do.
I'm so sorry. You would have actually lived if I didn't draw
Yeah, I
this.
think so. I think if you didn't have it, I would have lived.
Oh,
Because
he
it was,
drew
what,
it. There were 2.
4 cards. And
He didn't
then,
have it in
yeah,
hand.
it was climax.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So he
Yeah,
drew
I
the
was-
curtain.
It was like this.
So there were
and then
2.
4 cards, and then
Yeah.
climax.
There were 2 left.
Yeah,
in
climax.
his-
Yeah.
So I could have definitely
8.
lived.
8.
Yeah, exactly. I
On
can't
your attack
believe
order,
that.
like, yeah. Attack for 3, I cancel, and then you do like 2, and then 3, and then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You still
exactly.
go for it, though.
Yeah,
Like,
potentially
there's
then.
no
If I trigger
way.
poorly.
I agree.
Oh my god. June, you are too
Upset
strong. Yeah. You
Alright,
are too
I'm gonna
strong.
unmute
That's
Connor
crazy.
and-
Yeah.
It was very close, though. Like, game 3 down to the wire. Like,
Unmute.
Oh, let's go webcams on, by the way.
There you go.
Alright. Oh god.
Alright, so
wow.
we're here with the post game with our two
Jeez,
players.
Yeah.
Man, the ending to that third game was just like
It was anime.
Connor and I kept thinking like things were one way, and then it's like things are actually a completely different way. So like we were talking about Sam ditched a standby off of his drop salvage. So he probably has a standby already.
Yeah.
And then
you drew the standby.
He drew the very last one, apparently.
Yes, on the very last turn.
So we
So
thought
the
it was
last
already
one.
in your hand.
That's what I thought.
yeah.
My plan was actually to free fresh if June was gonna play more aggressively through front attacks.
Oh yeah,
but,
I knew he had a refresh counter in his hands. That's why like the weird side thing happened.
Yeah. So, yeah. And yeah, if the side attacks were enough to kill me, I had a pretty good chance of drawing into it. So I was like, it was more of a free fresh play though, in terms of ditching the CX so that I could refresh and not eat damage. But I think it was maybe a misplay because I needed that CX after all to live. I mean, kill him.
Yeah, you
But June also
probably-
refreshed with only 5 CXs in a deck of like 30 something. So I'm like,
Yeah.
So
We were saying the whole time that like the last restander should have just fronted for 3 and just hope you get it on the post counter deck.
Yeah, post refresh.
Yeah, and just
I
hope
thought
you stick
about
to
that
3.
like, for a really long time. That's why the last turn took so long.
Yeah, because like I don't know what the exact numbers on it would be, but I feel like that's probably more likely to stick a 3 than you are to hit the soul trigger. But I don't know.
The thing is that like if you do the double swings for 3, you get 2 chances, and then like this way you're not only do you only get 1 chance, but you have to hit a soul trigger at some point.
And if he cancels one of the sides, you're just dead.
yeah, but June wanted to make sure I couldn't free fresh, and my deck was like huge.
Yeah, the first attack also doesn't get over him. He counters the tie. Like I ran out of power pump. So he counters the tie and then he scries.
Right, but I mean, like you're still
So
getting an additional. Though I like the thing is that like he gets the scry if he gets the first cancel, but like but like the thing is that the scry actually just like doesn't matter because if it's in the top 2, he's no, he had the 1-0 Toka, right? No.
Yes.
Wait.
Right.
He had the
did,
1-0
yeah, he
Toka
did.
in the front row.
I did.
Okay, yeah. So that was the only one that would have mattered. The 2-2 didn't matter because if there was a cancel in the top 2, then it would still cancel anyway. Yeah, so it's basically just the 1-0 scry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Still crazy games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was interesting. Both players eating a lot of damage early, and then
super tight.
Yeah, the reason
I
why
made, like, on the first game with not getting the reverse off, I miscalculated the power.
when you attacked into the suicider, right?
The swapper. Yeah, the swapper, and then I miscalculated the power. I definitely underestimated the effects of that card. I prioritized it a lot lower, but I don't know. In the long run, I think it might have like come out in my favor for the most part because he just like had no stock for the rest of the game. He was always 1 stock off.
That's right.
Yeah.
There were like
Yeah,
a couple
I think-
moments throughout that I think that were just a couple head scratchers, I guess. One of them was
I'm sure.
one of them was at
usually is,
at the start of the
Yeah.
third game when you turn 1 you played standby with a brainstorm and you could have like challenged the Grodd in the middle because your Toka level 0 went to
He
2500.
didn't. He was afraid of me having
Infiltration.
Yeah, I didn't want a 6K to deal with when I had my 1-1. So yeah. Plus, I was actually curious how June was gonna try to deal with my 2-5, but
right.
it didn't
Oh yeah,
happen
it's
then.
super easy to kill stuff like that low level with Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Honestly, I actually wanted to try out getting the 1-0 in the back with this plus the bounce and see if you could get over 4K. Because I could have ditched this from hand to generate
Oh,
that board
yeah.
state.
Yeah.
But that sounded a bit too spicy because like I still think you could get over the 4K if you commit enough
Yeah, it
board.
requires like a little effort, but I can definitely get over 4K.
But yeah, but I was actually considering that line of play as well. But I think you guys are right. I could have just went for that. But
Yeah, I think in general you just front attack the Grodd there.
yeah,
Worst case, it makes me spend the stock.
that's true. That's true,
Yeah.
actually.
And stock is pretty precious for that, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed, we both had pretty poor refreshes just because we're burning through so much stock turn over turn.
Yeah,
you
it's
guys are
like
just burning
it-
resources
like I
like
said
crazy.
earlier at the start of the match, this is like very data life favored because like all the scry and stuff is just like so hard on the thing.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then in the last game, I didn't get my 2-1s. I couldn't get the copies. I only had to let early play, and I just didn't have the power to deal with the 2-1s or 2-2s on your board.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I think if I sculpt a little bit better, so I could have had this in mid game to deal with your early play, in the few chances you might get over it.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
probably would
that
have been better.
definitely is hard to watch out for.
Yeah. Especially, yeah, it can get pumped up to like decent sizes, where like the backups just make it like huge enough to
Yeah.
be really annoying for you.
The second to last turn on the final game, I like basically attacked in a way so that you'd still be at like level 2. And I was hoping we would have clocked to level 3 and then just swing for like, compression game and stuff like that so I could counter
Yeah.
my level 3 and then kill your back row.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, you clocked to level 3 and I was just like, okay, I guess.
Did you have the anti-change counter the turn before that? Because I brought
didn't.
up. Okay.
Yeah, I did not.
Okay, because I brought it up at one point. I was like, he can when the 2/2 swung into the Catwoman early play. I was like, if he has anti-change, he just anti-changes.
Yeah, I know. I was
beats the
so
2/2.
sad. Yeah, I
and
was
just
super sad. I was like, that's the
destroys him.
perfect situation I wanted.
Yeah.
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 And
Yeah,
then,
I
like,
just
the
need
turn
too much
after I
damage.
top decked into it, so they tried to set it up afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad I clocked myself to 3 then. I think that stock swap really hurt you, so that was RNG
I
though.
got 2 copies, yeah, I believe 2 or 3.
3,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got 3.
Yeah,
So-
I mean that's just like
It's luck.
Data life is good, stock up is good when you just
Yeah.
like compress and they just counter your compression.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess some post game thoughts from you guys now that you guys have actually like seen the others' builds and how they work. So obviously Sam hasn't really played against Batman Ninja in a while. So having played against it now, what are your thoughts on the deck?
Deck, it like pluses pretty well. In terms of selection though, like I don't think Joon was playing any like drop searches or salvages, so I guess it really relies on that compression and second deck to
Imagine
get
having
brainstorm
access
hits.
to drop searcher, salvage, and Batman Ninja.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I think like the deck has all the tools except for the selectivity because it's always has like full hand basically, which is amazing. But I think my biggest weakness from seeing what Joon was doing was the selection. So you're forced to play like lots of copies of cards, but it hits like really good power points. I think in terms of like being able to at least force backups, which is important when you're against standby. So that was good, I think.
Okay, and then for Joon, so repeatedly over the Springfest stream, we were commenting on how Sam's list had some very interesting ratios, particularly on the choice climax, which he only runs 3 of, and the choice Kotori combo, which he only runs 2 of. So kind of as like a alternative like spec game plan if you end up drawing into the choice. What are your thoughts on that?
You're asking like what do I think about like the Kotori splash?
Yeah, sure.
I think it's a very good way to go about it. You could even potentially run like 2 climaxes instead of 3.
Yeah,
I think it's like a great like what do you call it? A plan B, basically, like in mirror matches and stuff like that, where you just like a game of attrition, right? And if your opponent ends up setting their board up before you do, and then you're just at like a disadvantage, and you're gonna start bleeding hand. And Kotori is just like the freest. It's like one of the best climax combos in the game is in terms of like raw plussing power, because the card effectively says on attack climax combo plus 1, 2, or 3. It's like you cannot minus with this card because like worst case top card is a climax, and then all your climaxes plus you like cards. So
Yeah.
You cannot minus with that card.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty spicy in that. And actually, you perfectly understood the point of it. Was that yeah, exactly. It's kind of like a band-aid to either if I fuck up the matchup or if I yeah, like I sculpt poorly or like I behind in the game in terms of board state. It helps a tremendous amount.
Yeah, I actually didn't realize you only run 2 copies of the Kotori because you just like got it whenever you got it. But I guess yeah, that's pretty easy to do on Data Life for the most part.
Yeah,
But yeah,
exactly. The selection
I
is.
agree with like those ratios a lot for the most part.
Thanks. Cool.
All right.
And then having the choice like being triggered is also good. Like sometimes you're lacking stock, sometimes you're lacking a particular card. You want to like
Yeah.
salvage the level 13
I was saying,
or the refresh
it
counter.
helps with the refresh counter consistency a lot.
If you're prioritizing the trigger for trigger salvage, then like 3 copies makes more sense.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I'm still playing around with that because at least the CX swapper lets me combo at level 2 if I need it. Because generally, like if I play this game like an 8 standby variant with some extra choices, I don't actually like playing this combo at 1 unless I had a really bad game.
Yeah,
So yeah, at level 2 is generally when I want it, and yeah, this helps a lot.
Yeah, and then you just swap it around. Yeah, I noticed you run like 1 copy of that.
I think it makes sense that you say that you prefer playing it at level 2 because in standby typically the way you really start getting control of the board and like asserting your control of the board is probably around level 1 when you're able to like standby out like a 2/2.
Yeah.
And then from there, like if you're able to establish the dominance at 1 and then be able to keep board and like have like a semi decent amount of hand, and your opponent opens their lanes for you to kind of potentially come back with some damage of your own with your choice climax, because like 8 standby obviously they're not getting any soul from their climaxes, from their standby climaxes, so being able to have the same sort of card advantage lead as a normal 8 standby deck, but also have this option to push damage in the mid game is potentially really strong and can help you come back from a lot of worst game states, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, there was one game against I think it was the second game where I had to rely on this combo to try to like get me through. I think I lost in the end anyway, but it really helped reclaim the hand, and that can be really important too if you want to do double or triple Kurumi. So yeah, just being able to make sure you move into the finishing turn with 7 hand is really scary.
The fact that you can just like you generally like +2 off that combo on average is just like pretty nuts.
Exactly.
Yeah. Somebody on chat says 1-0 Toka Scry is too strong. Yeah, it is. In Japanese, it's restricted.
Yeah.
So yes, the 3/2 Kurumi is like super strong. It has like 1 extra ability for whatever reason. The 1-0 Toka is also, it synergizes way too well with the rest of the deck, and then it synergizes the most with the 2/2 Toka.
Yeah, 1-0 with the 2/2
that combo
is
ridiculous.
Yeah, those 2 combinations. I remember when the set came out in Japanese, and I was reading these cards, I'm just like, wait a minute, isn't this just like ridiculous if you can just get it out?
Yeah.
That 1-0 from like the moment it was revealed was just like, why did they print this? Like
the level of synergy was...
Yeah, the 1-0 by itself, it's like, I feel like it wouldn't be as much of a problem if the 2/2 didn't have that effect as well, but like having those 2 together is just super nutty.
Yeah, for sure.
Rearranging, and this card is also like good on attack too, because like if you attack with a second, you can always rearrange for your third attack.
Yeah, the fact that also like works on both turns for the top check is just like you could attack with the first even, and then just see what your second trigger is, and then just your like rest of the attacks in whichever way you want.
Yeah, well, you would probably want to attack with it second because so like you want to attack with like some random, like probably your weakest card first, so that if you do trigger standby on second attack,
right? I mean, like for the standby setup,
yeah. It depends how you need to set up your attacks. For sure.
I guess it would depend on if you have like an open back row slot, or if you can afford to like standby, or if your goal is to like standby to back row, then you're okay with standbying, triggering standby first attack, because otherwise you're not usually okay with triggering it first.
Depends on the game state.
Yeah.
It's cool too.
Trigger-wise, like
2 different.
Obviously.
Yeah, having 2 different climax triggers, like with the choice and the standby as well. because like in 8 standby, the 2-2, like if you see a climax in top 2 when you attack the second with it, it's always going to be a standby. But here it's like, oh, if you see a standby, if you need the board, you can put the standby on top to get your board, or put it second to get the cancel. Or if you need like refresh counter in hand, then you see the choice. Like you have different options that do different things depending on which climax you see.
Yeah, exactly.
Like some scenarios where you put the standby on top, you might put the choice on the bottom because it just doesn't help you in that spot.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's pretty nice.
And then if you have like 2 copies of the 2/2 Kurumi, and then you can just like cascade your stuff, you could just like not trigger climaxes if you attack with it like first and second.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're
that's
basically
great.
it's just like you're playing Mocha basically at that point.
Yeah, it's like freaking. It's like, oh, there's a climax. Let me put it on the bottom. Trigger non-climax. Oh, there's a climax. Put it on the bottom. Trigger non-climax. It's just you just cancel next turn.
Yeah,
Those
it's
two abilities are probably like one of the biggest reasons, other than like 3T Kurumi, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, the good part was I wasn't able to set up too crazy of a board because you're like soul rushing so effectively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's half the point of the Batman Ninja. You just like try lane whenever you can.
Yeah, exactly. The tri lanes and constant CX pressure. I've actually tested a similar thing against like bar decks like Yuki Sao. And yeah, it's actually pretty difficult if you eat like more than 2 attacks. So yeah, if you start skipping levels, I think like DAL is in a position where sure, they can get out the nuts board because you get the Kotorian back because you got pushed to 2. But if they can continuously start slamming CX even past that, it gets a bit dicey, as you can see in the second game.
That's a general weakness of like standby decks, where just like you want the game to go as slow as possible.
Yeah, exactly.
And meanwhile, Joon
yeah,
over here with Batman, Tri-Field Slam Climax. We're not going slow. We're going so fast.
Climax machine go bird.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like there's a couple of turns where I had 2 attacks, so they're like, I'm not ready, and there's no way I can be ready. Yeah, but yeah, I think that really reinforces that like Joon's game plan. I think can have a like really positive effect for the matchup in terms of like making it more even. Because otherwise, I'm not sure how Batman Ninja could beat a double 2/2 with the 1-0 in the back.
Yeah, you really can. It's like the best chance is like I said, it's 2-1, and then some climaxes or whatever.
Yeah.
And even then, like you also have counters and all that. So it's just like I noticed you were grabbing the 1-0 counters pretty frequently, and then like the refresh counter also doubles as like extra power pump. So
yeah, exactly.
It's super obnoxious. Yeah.
Yeah, I was learning on the fly about your power levels I need to beat. And, yeah, more or less.
A lot of people. Yeah, a lot of people run like 2-1s that are like only against level 3s, like 13k against level 3s, right?
Yeah.
But I've always preferred stuff like this, where it's just 12k ish, 12k, 12k, but it also works against 2/2s, especially with current meta, or it's been the meta for a while now.
Yeah.
Or standby 2/2s, it's like those 2-1s don't work on it. It's anti-level 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually last night in a call with Riaz and a couple of others. We were talking about Kaguya, right? And Kaguya is 2/1. Instead of gaining power when it attacks a level 3, it's whenever you resonate for it. So it can get the power against anything. And that's just like those cards are so huge right now because you don't just need to answer early plays anymore. Like now you have to be able to answer early plays and 2/2s.
Yeah.
Which a lot of the things, like Konosuba has the 2/1 Megumin that gains 3k and can like salvage on, or gains 6k and can salvage on reverse and stuff like that. But like those cards don't help you in standby matchups. Whereas things like this 2/1 Batman can at least still hit those power lines that at worst you're forcing counters out of 2/2s.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the biggest thing, other than just giving them free cards.
Exactly. Or like worst case scenario, sometimes I've had to use the Yoshino 1/1 to try to save 2/2s if I just wasn't big enough, and that's actually really feels bad because you lose the card, you lose the stock. Yeah, so that's unfortunate too in terms. But yeah, actually I think Kaguya has a really good matchup against the DAL though, because the Miyuki early play is pretty nuts too.
Yeah,
that's a separate discussion.
Okay.
I think that's about anything, unless anybody has any questions in chat.
Yeah, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
If anybody wants to ask any questions in chat, now's your time to ask.
Well, people stream delay, so while people see if they have any questions.
It's only like a
How
15
was the
second
stream
delay.
for everybody? How was the commentating? I'm pretty excited to go back and watch the VOD.
Same. I'm just so sad about that disconnect where I had to use a different USB plug. I actually still don't
That was
understand what
pretty.
happened
That was
there.
pretty troll, actually.
Yeah, that was super monka. I'm like, not like this. I hope like we don't have to end the stream or anything.
Exactly, because it was such a critical attack too. Because you're like, okay, I
Yeah,
front.
yeah.
I'm like, okay, free fresh counter. You're like, oh, what do you mean? I'm like, oh no, oh no. I was actually like sweating because I'm like, oh fuck. If this is the end of the stream, I'm just gonna be so sad because it worked fine leading up to this, and yeah, I don't know. I think restarting my computer today was a huge mistake because it was fine last weekend. I should just like not touched anything.
Yeah. Somebody's asking what set you're gonna work on next, Sam.
I'm testing Kaguya right now, but I think like just because of this Yoshino card, DAL should still win, but it's gonna be a big attrition game, so I might try like there's also 8 choice slime, which I think is a little bit more interesting than 8 standby slime.
Yeah.
Mostly like the early plays might be really cool. Those are like my big 3 right now. Date Alive, Kaguya, and Slime. For English, anyways.
The H-choice slime has the finisher is like super explosive.
Yeah. And not too many decks play memory kick counters, which is basically blows it up. I am a little bit afraid of the Golden Slayer matchup in case they bounce one of the Rimurus. But I guess you hope you win board at that point because I think it's better to play like the double early play in that deck so you absolutely win board. So Goblin Slayer is either forced aside or AK doing no damage or give up their counter.
I definitely wish memory kick and memory kick effects and memory kick counters become like more relevant.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah, they're at least starting to print the counters into a couple more sets, but we still don't see very many assists that do it. There's only like 5 or 6 in JP, and then like
Are there that
maybe
many?
not even that many. There's Decappo
Sword
has one, Sword Art has one, Sympho Gear has one.
Oh yeah,
That's like all I can think
about
of.
memory
Actually,
kick counters, right?
When you add English Adventure
there you go.
memory kick
Yeah,
supports.
Time has memory kick. Persona has memory kick counter. Attack on Titan has
No,
kick
the
counter.
backup. We're talking about the assist.
Yes.
The back row. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sword Art has it. Adventure Time has it. Not a ton of assists have it.
Yeah.
It might,
A ton of sets have
I feel like there's one more that I'm missing.
Oh, does Hinalogy have it? I think it does, right? Hinalogy?
That might have been one of the ones I was forgetting.
I think
I think
does have it.
Hinology, the 3-2 Leon.
Yeah, in the back. I remember this. I actually own almost maxed Hinalogy, so it was very sad when it got banned twice, but anyway. Yeah, whoops.
Man, no one likes looking at cards. No one likes looking at boards with 25 cards on it because there's 4 markers under everything. That is just
yeah.
Exactly. The only one we forgot, Darling has
is what?
Which one?
Franx has it.
Oh, the green card.
Support.
Yeah,
the Janista.
Yeah.
So there is Sympho Gear, Sword Art, Phenology, Franx, Decappo, and Adventure Time.
Okay.
Frank's the best B tier deck, right? Or did SB TCG put on A tier?
I don't know, Matt. We're gonna have to consult Human on that one.
Almost all of those also heal. The only one that doesn't is Asuna.
Oh wow!
Is which one?
I think, right? Asuna for Sword Art is the only one of those that doesn't also heal. And Adventure Time. Adventure Time is draw 1 digital.
Yeah, Bubblegum is Bouncer, right?
Yeah. Okay. So the 2 that exist in English are the only 2 that don't heal.
Interesting.
Every other one heals. Not like it matters that much if you just stand by them out, right?
Yeah, almost all of these are standby decks. The only one that's not is Franx.
I mean, Frank's trances into it though, so.
Well, but they get the heal off that.
Oh, right, they do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trans activates all the play effects.
Yeah.
For the most part, anyway. Yeah. If there's a fall tournament if the fall tournament is an online format, do I plan to participate? No, unless something like last minute happens, like with this one. Like I said, this one I wasn't planning to enter in first place. this previous one, and I just happened to be awake. I was just like, I'll just enter for for funsies.
Oh, nice.
So no plans.
Hey, you're
I'll-
second place.
I'll enter for funsies, he says, as he
Yeah.
proceeds to mop the floor with everyone.
Yeah. To be honest, I'm actually still shocked I got first place because I went in with a similar mindset of I really want to test this deck build out in a tournament setting. So I didn't go in thinking like this is the best deck to win, but it's something that I think could win.
Yeah, no, I think you're having like the Kotori as a splash instead of like your main game plan is like a big what do you call it, big advantage that you have the other deck lists don't. Because it's like
Yeah.
still mostly standby, but like your Kotori is like the little fix, the little extra something that the other decks just don't have access to.
Exactly. Because like
Yeah.
I will say, as a disclaimer, like I think if like you have this perfect player who like is like 200 IQ, 8 standby should still be better than this because they'll always have the correct board and always have the correct power pumps. But like I don't know anyone who can actually play that well, so I'm like I need band-aids. And this is
I
my
mean, like that's
great
in
yeah.
in a sense that like if you're able to like perfectly control your RNG, yes, but like
Yeah.
the game has RNG elements in it, some stuff that are out of your control. So having that plan B, like if you're bleeding hand for whatever reason, like in mirror matches and stuff like that, or like needing that refresh counter, just 8 standby just does not have that option.
Yeah, very true. Like, yeah, I think we end up relying on brainstorms at that point. It's pretty feels bad if
Yeah,
yeah.
it's pretty rough. Having being able to like salvage a refresh counter is a huge boon.
Yeah. That happened more than once in our games, and I was like, oh god,
Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just
That
I'm
was
saved.
one of the more obnoxious things as well. It's just like, oh, he's like 3 and no, okay, never mind. There's a refresh counter. And
Yeah.
after like
Yeah.
these are all side attacking opportunities.
Exactly. Yeah, and
Yeah,
then you have to
there
commit
were
all your
yeah, there were more
CXs.
than one occasions where like I went out of my way to like counter so that you have like an open lane or like at least forced to make you encore it so that you can uh counter with the refresh counter.
Yep. Yeah, I distinctly remember that with the 1-1. I'm like, shit, I really need to yeah, encore that or else I lose the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I also think I also feel like compared to 8 or not 8 compared to 4 choice for standby, I feel like typically people playing those decks they would like mole standby possibly and like just like not try to assert board and then just like collect Kotoris. But the thing is that with the way you're playing this deck where it's like main focus is standby with the Kotori as like a side option,
Yes.
like you're still prepping that level 1 board, you're still getting that level 1 board presence and asserting the board early, and then you worry about the Kotori later, which I think is really innovative way to think about it. I think yeah, it's working pretty well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
for
believe
sure.
that's like the current line of play because I believe there's at least one other Data Live player that had Kotori level 1s as their main game plan, and that's what they went for level 1 game, like as their main game plan. And I feel
Yeah.
like standby first, priority standby makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, I think so. Because like that's where the deck really pops off is when you have
Yeah,
these.
it's
And
like the
actually
most
I have
fair portion of the deck.
yeah, and one of these for the mirror match too, just in case they're being spicy and playing MLS or Adventure Time too. It's a
Yeah.
good card against those matchups. But
Okay, so
yeah,
we do
like
have
yeah.
another question. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead. I'm
So
rambling.
we do have another question in the chat. Is anyone looking forward to Sword Art Alicization Set 2 in October?
Yes.
Connor always is
He's just like,
English,
yes.
English something. Connor's always looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Asuna finisher is sweet. I like that card a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
actually, is that the one with for sorry 6 pants 2 stock cell? Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's
No.
this is a different build.
It's on a choice.
Oh,
It's a healer. It's on choice. On attack, if you have the on reverse salvage Ricky in your memory, which it goes to memory as part of its cost. On attack, if that's in your memory, you pay 2, discard 2, mill 11, and then deal 1 X times, where X is the number of climaxes you build.
Oh wow.
So if you get like double Asuna, which is pretty reasonable, like it's a little heavy on hand, but like the stock cost for a double is like 6 or whatever. You build 22. So reasonably, you're probably like, unless you're in a weird deck state, if you're in a good deck state, you're hitting 6 or 7 climaxes.
Yeah.
Which 6 burn 1s or 7 burn 1s should just kill pretty much anyone.
Pretty high.
and then
If
like
you
you have your
average it
actual
out,
attacks on top
yeah,
of that.
if you average it
At
out
8
like
stuff,
over a general game, the number should come out to like 4 or 5 climaxes. I feel like.
yeah, it gets
Yeah.
worse when you're having to combo like like if you're on a small deck, right, and you have like an 8 or 9 card deck, and there's only like 2 climaxes in there, you're probably only burning 2 on that first Asuna,
Yeah.
and then your second one's just completely up in the air.
Yeah.
If you're on like a fresh deck, like you just refresh, and you refresh like 7 and 26 or whatever, I think then you can definitely expect to be burning like 6, maybe even 7.
Yeah.
So I think one of the bigger focuses of the deck should probably be on like deck control to get that refresh timing. It's kind of like the
mill options.
Persona, like Persona's finisher is super explosive if you can control your deck.
Yeah.
But like at 8 stuff, you get double Asuna plus Musashi,
Yeah, with
which
Asuna, it's just like
also kills people.
yeah, you just naturally want to compress anyways. So
Right.
it's just like it's kind of having a regular game, and then if you end up getting good compression, your finisher is also even more explosive. So it just synergizes
Yeah.
super well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty scary actually.
I'm personally not really looking forward to it or anything like that. I sold off my English Sword Art a long time ago because the set just keeps getting more sets. I'm just like, I don't want to keep having to buy into this set. So
Yeah.
I stopped playing Sword Art.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, I think probably the cards out of that set that I would be most excited to see is the level 1 Kirito combo with the Asuna Bonder. I think that overall package at level 1 is like actually just nuts. Like you have a Bonder to a level 1 combo that is costless, guaranteed advantage with extra power and like on attack topper waiting rooms equal to the number of Bonders you have on the board. And then you just like, and it's on a pants. So like if you trigger pants, you like get it back and then you just salvage more copies of it. And it's just, or you get more Bonders and it's just, you have so much control over what you're getting and what you're triggering. And it's just, especially with like the way that I like to play the game, which is level 1 combo over and over and over and over again. Like that's that's definitely my kind of card for sure.
Sounds like the only weakness is just like the number of board spaces that you have. You have like if you're running Bonders, that's
Right,
one of the
'cause the
weaknesses
Bonder.
of Bond effects. It just takes up board space.
Yeah.
But yeah, that combo is actually like extremely strong. Like, looping it especially
Yeah.
sounds pretty broken.
Yeah, it's very similar to what like you were talking about 8-choice slime earlier. That can go like on attack salvage combo, salvage Ramarus, get back combo to loop. And then the Kirito can on attack salvage the Bonder, play the Bonder, get back the Kirito and loop.
Yeah, exactly. And the new Data
so
Life with 8-choice does the same thing too, because the
Right.
Kome kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay,
I wonder if that's like what they're pushing now. Anyway, yeah.
So I think if there's no more questions, I think we've come about to the end of the stream. We've been streaming for a little over 3 hours now, so
A little
I think
over 3 hours.
had pretty good time. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's fine.
any closing thoughts? I personally had a really fun time playing against Sam here. Really good
Yeah,
games.
same.
I'm glad it went to like game 3, you know, because it's not as fun when it's just 2 games.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
Exactly.
super glad it went to game 3. Yeah, some questionable like misplays on my end as well. And then as you guys saw, like this, I feel like it was this matchup was a very good example of like the strengths and weaknesses of both decks.
Yeah.
Like a lot of situations happened where like it highlights the strengths and weaknesses of both sets.
Yeah,
So
I
I'm
definitely,
glad-
I definitely
sure.
think that like, just like in the way that some of those games were just like so roller coaster. It's like you have some like moments of like real highlight for Batman Ninja and how like Joon wants to play the deck in terms of like early tri-field into climax into just absolutely just rip them a new one. And then on the flip side, like the game just like turns around in the mid game to when Data Live gets the stabilization through like their standbys and 2/2s and getting a lot of scries, and you really get to see a lot of both decks in that respect.
Yeah. You saw a lot of swings on like which player was in a favorable position.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. Both Joon and Randall.
And that's how you get the most
Yeah,
entertaining games, right?
True.
Yeah,
For sure.
I'm glad the games came out pretty well for the most part. It wasn't
Yeah.
just like shenanigans, just nothing happening really, but stuff actually happened in all 3 games for the most part, which I'm glad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
very
they're
fun.
they're close.
Oh, actually, one last thing from the last game, we were Connor and I were actually talking about the possibility. It didn't end up happening, but so in the last game, Sam had a 1-0 Toka in his front row, right? This is the turn where Joon was thinking about like the siding and the refresh climax. Yeah, Connor knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I came up with this idea because Joon, you had 3 stock, right? You had
Yeah.
3 stock on that turn before you did anything. And so what I was thinking about was the possibility of grappling hook -1k Toka into play over it, brainstorm, get it back, tap again, kill the Toka, and then you have 2 stock, and then you direct that lane, and then restand, and then direct it again, and then just go for like 9 with no chance of refresh counter. That would have been just like absolute super spicy end game.
Oh man, that would be hilarious.
Yeah, no, I didn't see.
You didn't have the climax though, right? You had to
there.
you had to play the second level 3 to get the climax, I think. What's the problem with that?
Was that like the final turn?
It was the final turn, yeah,
Final
because you
turn.
used the 2 stock on the second
Final turn,
restand.
I already had the climax in my hand.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
You probably didn't have a grappling hook in hand.
Probably not from. Yeah, I didn't have a grappling hook in hand.
Yeah, you would have needed like grappling hook or so you could play
Like
it.
already in hand.
Yeah.
Hit the brainstorm on your like stock swap refreshed deck that probably you're not gonna hit the brainstorm anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Which funnily enough you would have hit like 1 or 2, I think.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think I would have hit like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
It turns out, yeah, because I just like top checked and milled all my climaxes. I'm just like, oh, okay, I guess I'm dead next turn.
Yeah.
What I think is also pretty funny is that assuming that this play were to have actually like happened and you were able to do this like double grappling hook thing, so at that point Sam has 2 choices: either he encores and then doesn't have enough stock to free fresh counter, or he just lets you direct that lane. So it's like it just becomes
you
like
stop the free fresh counter either way.
Yeah, it just becomes the super spicy WSI part 2 basically. Like these actual like 1000 IQ grappling plays. You love to see it.
Yeah, that card is really flexible. It's pretty amazing, pretty fun.
Yeah, I definitely prioritize like grappling hook much lower for this matchup because the use cases are so fringe.
Yeah, usually he's gonna have a board that's full anyway.
Yeah, and then like any back row I bring up, I'm just not gonna be able to like really deal with it easily with like one minus power.
Yeah, Connor actually came up with the possibility of potentially, this still doesn't work if he has a full board, but potentially using a grappling hook to push a card back as a potential strategy.
That is an option, yeah, because you could move it to any empty slot. So
Right.
yeah, I do think about those lines of plays every now and then where it's applicable, but so far it hasn't been applicable in all my Batman games.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
One day it'll be the plan.
One day.
Pay 2 plus 1 soul, and it'll win.
One day they're out all climaxes. They have like a 15 card deck, and I
just it stops counter step. They can't refresh counter if you push it back.
Yeah,
that's true. Oh boy.
All right.
But yeah, it was great to play you, Joon. Like, I didn't get to say, but I've always like been super interested in like how you play since I keep seeing you topping Nats and JP and stuff like that. So it's great to actually have a chance to play with you in English format too.
Yeah. Thanks for the games.
Yeah, thank you, and thanks to Randall and Connor for setting this up as well.
Yeah.
So
thank you too, by the way, for commentating. Appreciate it.
Oh yeah. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Those games were definitely some action-packed games at all times. like never a dull moment. There's like always some sort of like, oh man, like this, he just took like 10 damage. What is the play here? How is he gonna get out of this one? What does he do about these 2Ks? Like, yeah.
It's pretty fun.
Great. That pretty much concludes our stream here. So we've had, of course, our 2 competitors, Joon and Sam, and then I've been, then there's me, Randall, aka Shizukatz.
Yep. And Boats Don't Sink, Connor. Thanks to everyone that came in to watch.
And hopefully, maybe we'll be able to do something like this again sometime. Just a cool exhibition match with commentary. And yeah,
Wow.
so we will see you next
Alright.
time, guys.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. See you next time.
Thanks. Bye.